Hello, you are listening to episode 65 of Ultra Q. My name is Red. I am joined by Mel.
The ability to transcend gender implies the ability to cisgender gender.
Yeah, tragic.
Sorry, that was the sound of me throwing the action figure of this show onto the ground.
My microphone fell over. I guess I have to keep that in now. Okay.
Yeah, the idea.
Fumbled the mic, just like the creators of the show with the show's concept.
Yeah. Also joined by Brad.
Hello.
Hello.
Dads are stars and women come from the moon? ?
Yep. That's how it works. Or Pluto. One of the two.
Or Pluto.
After they have fled to Pluto. Coming up, Poochie died on the way back to his home planet. Fucking bullshit. Dad also died. And also one normal episode of Ultraman Ace.
The last normal episode of Ultraman Ace. Probably.
Yeah, the last normal episode of... Well, hang on. No. Next week we will have the first normal episode of Ultraman Ace, unfortunately.
Tragic.
Or not next week, the week after. I apologize. Yeah, so before we get to Ultraman, which there will be some complaining at the end. First of all, what have we fucking done this week? I can start. I'm going to start right now. You know why I'm going to start? Because I finished the thing 2 hours ago. I beat Myst.
Oh, that's a game I need to play.
That's good.
That's a game I played when I was very young and have no recollection of other than thinking it was very pretty at the time.
Yeah, Is there a reason in particular you played Myst?
Nah.
No?
I was just like, I'm just going to play Myst. And I played Myst. I felt like playing Myst, so I played Myst. And then I made a bunch of notes in my... I just had a great time. It was kind of... I was kind of like clicking around, kind of just like, I feel like I'm stuck for a bit. And then I got like I got over the first hurdle in the game, and then it kind of was falling dominoes. I had a great time. I only looked up one bullshit thing, which was like a secret panel placement that you just had to the spot being different from the wall that I did not spot. So that I managed that. That's the most I looked up. I had a great time. I feel pretty good about myself. I've taken a lot of inscrutable notes that are very funny. I made weird maps that are completely useless because I did something in the wrong order. And I just, I really like Myst. That's got a fun atmosphere. The puzzles are pretty cool. I like it.
I should play
video
that.
Game.
I should play that and Ribbon, and then maybe the third one. But I should probably play first and foremost Myst.
I played the Masterpiece Edition because it doesn't look like shit.
Yeah, I don't have any interest in playing the one that's 3D polygons.
Yeah, it's
Give
also
me that pre-rendered.
When I see that you can free. Cause, okay, here's the thing. There were times when playing Myst when I was like, "Oh, this movement is fucking destroying my mind." I was like, I'm trying to go over that. I can't tell which way I've moved. I can't tell what's happened geographically when I clicked there. However, the alternative, which is WASD movement with just free look, nightmare. Terrible. No, very, very, very bad. You are gonna get caught looking at shit that doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
I can't believe they made 2 3D remakes of Myst.
Yeah. I mean, it was a big deal.
Yeah, but also, it's just also like did not understand the assignment.
One thing I will say, one of those 3D remakes has the first option movement-wise is the same node-based, like moving to what the original pre-rendered screens were, but with smooth movement between the nodes. And I was like, oh, that would have been very nice on my brain. That would have been really good. But obviously that game doesn't look as good as it does when it's all the, the kind of crusty looking 1990s game.
Yeah.
When were the remakes made? Because I frankly don't know anything about them.
They were made. So there was like one in the 2000s. So the game I made is like a already kind of a remaster-ish because it's got higher more. It's like higher bit or something. But
it's like higher res versions of the.
Yeah, 1999 is the version I played, and then there's like 2000s, and then there's like 2014, and then there's 2020, and then there's 2023. It was like
oh
VR
Jesus
one.
Christ!
Why is there a 2023 one? There was a 2021.
The 2023 one, I believe, is VR.
Oh, okay, so it's just a port, basically. Kind of.
Yeah. Myst VR. Let me look at this. When did it come out?
Don't have a lot of experience with Western adventure games. Like I played some Japanese ones, like.
Oh, I might have made that up. About 2023. It might be the 2021 version.
Like well, they're working on Riven too, so.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
yeah, I'm pretty sure I played the original because I was like, did I play the remake when I was younger? Just didn't know it was a remake, but no, it was.
Like
it was the OG.
I think the closest game mechanically to Myst that I've played is Professor Layton on the DS.
Mm-hmm.
It was, similar mode of navigation and puzzle and stuff. Like, yeah, I as far as like adventure games go, I know, like I played some visual novels, which count because they're cladistics, but also I played like Ace Attorney, and the Somnium Files for Professor Layton, that kind of stuff. So, limited experience with adventure games.
I'd definitely say Myst is like I played the Somnium Files. Myst is like much more it's like way less mechanics. Like it's very much about like little sequences of little tiny. Calling them puzzles is almost strange.
Yeah, that's why I think like it's not perfect, but I do feel like Professor Layton is the closest thing there is.
Oh, okay.
Just because also the way you navigate the world in Professor Layton, I think, is probably similar to the way you like go from screen to screen.
Have I ever told you about how my friend may have gotten the Berenstain Bears thing into the Eye of the Somnium Files sequel?
Oh, no.
That's a game I'm still working on, but no, you did not.
One of my friends on Twitter, Antinomi, currently locked account, so I can't really like tweet the receipts, but they're out there. Tweeted at Uchikoshi asking if he'd ever heard about the Berenstain Bears thing, and Uchikoshi was like, "Huh, no, interesting." And then, sure enough, in the fucking second Eye of the Somnium Files game, one of the characters like, "Do you know about the Berenstain Bears thing?"
That's great.
One day I need to play more of Uchikoshi's games besides the Somnium Files. I haven't played the. What's the fucking show? Zero Escape. Yeah,
Zero Escape.
Or the other Ever 7, whatever ones he did like way back when.
I have friends who swear by those. I need to play the other Zero Escape games. I kind of went lower on the priority list because I played the first one and I liked it quite a bit, and I think I'd like the second one. But a lot of my friends who are invested in that series did not care for the third game.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. But I'm gonna take it as I go eventually. But I'm gonna finish AI Nirvana first. I've had that game for like way too long. I need to finish it. Something happened along the lines where I just kind of fell off all my Switch games. I guess video games in general, I'm kind of bad at it. But anyway.
My Switch mostly collects dust at this point myself.
I fell off on Switch games because the person that I had given me their Switch asked for it back.
Yeah, foiled again.
Yeah. To be fair. Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying, my IRL friend let me borrow some games. I've not played them yet. I'm like, I should probably play them. What's up?
Mm-hmm. To be fair to that guy, he had given me his Switch because he didn't want it anymore. And then he was like, hey, can I have the Switch back? My kid is like, you know, we went to go see the Mario movie, and my kid wants to play a Mario game, and I was like, okay, you can have your Switch back. Yeah.
This one you should have been like, have you ever heard about Yuzu? You can download it on your computer.
Not anymore.
Yeah, not anymore. Actually, true, not anymore.
You can probably find something else though.
I have found something else.
I do.
I'm not saying what it is. But you can. Yeah, it's very simple.
Life always finds a way.
Pour one out for Rim's Lair, by the way.
God, it sucks.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes, that was Myst. I played.
That was
Myst.
all relevant to Myst.
Yeah,
it was all relevant to Myst.
I should replay
Myst
Myst.
on Switch.
It is like, I'm pretty sure I went through that experience as a child, and every time I got even moderately stuck, I went to game FAQs. That's probably what I did. So
yeah.
I want to play Myst, and after I do that, I'm gonna think, what would Date from AI the Somnium Files do in this situation?
I see. I wonder if that will help or hinder. We will see.
Think about the abnormal mapping. Last one on Myst 3 about and the email question of.
I have not listened to that because I haven't played Myst 3.
Oh, it was just
I wouldn't listen to it.
That's fair. There was just an email about like getting stuck in a book, and who you'd stick. You know what? I'm gonna drop this because I can't form a coherent thought. It was the setup for it.
That's okay. That's okay.
Probably bad. Ultraman.
Well, that's me because otherwise I've been doing other stuff. I've been, once again, making progress through lots of things at once, which means slow progress.
I have two small things.
I guess you can go first.
Go for it.
So one, I'm not going to talk about this much. A lot of my friends have recommended the animated show on Adult Swim / HBO Max, Smiling Friends, to me, to which I've always gone, I know the people who make that show, and I've always found them really fucking annoying. And I remember them being kind of shitheads about certain things on the internet, like forever ago, vaguely. Like, nothing that stuck with me enough that I could, like, tell you why, but I just absolutely remember seeing posts from them that were bad. So I just didn't ever want to watch it. And then I finally sat down and watched it, and I was like, okay, I do think these people are annoying still, but they made a pretty funny show. Which is the worst.
Yeah, classic.
Yeah, but it's
like when we watch an Yamagiba episode of Ultraman Ace.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a show that I'd say lands for me about 90% of the time. So, like, sometimes it kind of has that, like, Newgrounds, because it's made by Newgrounds animators is what I should say, like, people from back in the day. And it's mostly a normal adult animated comedy show that, like, has some pretty fun, like, how we're poking fun at, like, adult friendships and situations that, like, people find themselves in at work or, like, in life sort of thing or whatever. The season 1 finale is this really good episode
you briefly tried to go French with it there with finale.
Yeah.
Finale.
No, I just stuttered, but yeah, I was
wondering if that was a Wisconsin thing.
We do have, listen, half of our towns are, when you point to a town or a lake name in Wisconsin, it's either French or Native American in origin.
To be fair, the British did get that area from the French.
Yeah.
I say got it from the French as if it was theirs to give, but
the last episode of season 1 is them all going to Brazil, and it's like, oh, the fun vacation episode, and then they realize that all of them dropped the ball on booking the hotel, and then it's just, like, proceeds to be an argument in the airport, and I was like, oh, this has not happened to me, but I could see this happening to me. This is so real. And yeah, it's mostly just a normal show. There's like 10% of it that I'm like, okay, this is just kind of annoying, like being edgy for the sake of it in a way that I just find kind of like bland and immature. But then the rest of it is just like, oh no, this is just kind of fun. So yeah,
Cool.
I guess that's a show that I'm like, yeah, I guess thumbs up. But I don't know. The other thing I watched that okay, I need to start from the beginning. My friends and I were trying to find something that we could just watch and laugh at over Discord, and was kind of low commitment, didn't require much brain power.
Things you say right before you admit to watching the worst show in the world.
Oh, yeah. So I'm 6 episodes in with my friends on American Horror Story.
Oh, okay.
And guess what? It's pretty bad. Oh my god. Okay, so I've known of this show for... Okay, there's like 3 things I've known about American Horror Story. 1, the annoying, like, Tim Burton people in my life really fucking gas it up, which made me want to stay away from it for a while. 2, Lady Gaga's in it, and I guess, I've heard people like her performance in that. I have another friend watching along with us who has watched a lot of American Horror Story, and he's like, she's not that good. When she shows up, I was like, oh, damn, okay, who do I believe now? And 3, the premise of the show is that it's kind of an anthology thing where every season they have a lot of the same actors, but they're different characters and different story each time. Except for the seasons where that's not true, and they do a big MCU-style crossover.
Oh.
But
okay.
They're crossing over characters that are played by the same people. Because they're all the same actors.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let's keep going. I'm gonna find something that reminds me of that.
Okay.
From Toku.
The first season was originally just called American Horror Story, and apparently was like really well received because it got popular and they kept making more. Here
it is.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Nice.
What show is this from?
This is Kenji Oba, who played Space Sheriff Gavon, Battle Kenya and Battle Fever J, and the Blue Denzaman and Denzaman.
Okay.
And then they just got him to be all those 3 guys in the crossover thing at one point.
That's sick.
That's pretty fun. But yeah, so American Horror Story Season 1 is retroactively, because now, like, this is like a series with a mythology, and all of the parts need to have their own title, of course.
We need to have lore.
Yes, so the Season 1 is now called Murder House. It's...
Is it about a house where murder happens?
Oh, let me tell you, a lot of murder happens in that house. So... The funny part about this show is that it is trying so hard to do every 90s and 2000s, like, horror movie, like, ghost story and serial killer, like, slasher movie scene, but with just, like, almost no craft. And it's so funny because they just keep throwing darts at the wall. The way I describe this to my friends is it's like the writer's room had a perpetual there are no bad ideas day. And they just put everything in the show. So it's about a family who there's a dad and a mom, their cute little dog, and then they have a teenage daughter. And the mom and father are going through it because the dad is a doctor. And I believe I think he might be a professor or something, but in some way, shape, or form, he like teaches or instructs like younger like medical staff or people trying to get into the industry or whatever. And someone is blowing up my phone, and oh my fucking okay, sorry if you hear the buzzing. But someone no, so the dad had an affair with a very much younger medical student, and obviously that has put their relationships in hot water, and then the teenage girl gets bullied a lot, and she doesn't feel like she fits in, and everyone's arguing with each other, but they're moving to the West Coast. They got a really good deal on a house, and only after they move in do they find out that the house was so cheap, because last year the couple that lived in it got murdered, and weird characters keep showing up on the house premises and keep dropping lore about other devious things and murders that occurred in the house over the last century. And very quickly it becomes apparent that a lot of characters in the show are actually just ghosts that are stuck to the house. And there's a weird bit where they get kidnapped by serial killer cultist enthusiasts in episode 2, and their whole gimmick is that they want to reenact the murders in the house, and the ghosts come in to fight the serial killers fans and save them. It goes from 0 to 100 pretty much right away. It is maybe one of the worst edited shows I've ever seen in my life. The only thing I can think of that compares to it, if any of you have ever seen that first Suicide Squad movie that was made,
Lol.
it is edited like that. Now I will give them credit. The first 3 episodes were just like atrociously paced, where it's just one thing after another happens in quick succession. It gives you no time to breathe or think on anything. We kept having this thing where we kept going, how long left do we have in the episode? Because we kept thinking, like, surely it has to be over soon. And we were like 40 minutes into like an hour-long episode. It just goes at a breakneck pace. This changes with the Halloween 2-parter they did, which is episode 4 and 5. Where it feels like they're maybe taking their time a little bit more to just slow things down and deal with character drama. Unfortunately, the character drama is revealing that, and I don't feel bad spoiling this because it's like episode 4 of like a 12-episode show. The hot bad boyfriend that the teenage daughter's in love with isn't actually alive. He's the ghost of a school shooter.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Yeah, but maybe he was just misunderstood. And then we're treated to like a reenactment scene of like it's literally just the Columbine library thing that happened in real life, but with like a bad boy school shooter dude, and the girls, everyone's like, oh, he was just misunderstood. I'm like, what the fuck are we doing? Yeah, it's a lot, and I like can't look away from it. It's like I feel like this is my Riverdale is kind of what I took away from this. The way people talk about Riverdale, I think I'm gonna end up feeling about this, where it's like, what the fuck is this? And yeah, I'm just kind of fascinated by it. It's bad. It's not good. I read contemporary TV critic reviews that were gassing up the early episodes, and I was like, what the fuck are you guys going on about?
This is how I feel when people talk about Seed on my timeline.
There's also a mystery man running around killing people in a gimp suit. So yeah.
Why?
I don't know. So also too, the couple that had the house before the main couple was 2 gay guys. And they got murdered by the gimp suit guy. We see in a flashback. But when the family when they first move in, there's a scene where they go into the attic for the first time, and they see 2 gimp suits hanging from chains, and they start joking like, huh, those gay guys must have been pretty kinky. And I'm just like, what are we doing? Yeah, it's a horrible show.
American Horrible Story.
Yeah. Sometimes you get into an argument about having an abortion with a ghost. Normal things.
Maybe the show's really good. That's oh man, that's so stupid.
It's so great. Dumb. It's kind of fun. That's all I had.
In which case, Mal, what you been up to?
Hey, so it's been weird for me because I technically started a new job the past week. Something remote data entry.
Nice.
So in some ways I've been busy, but otherwise I think I've got a bunch by coincidence. So I'll see what I can do. First of all, most important thing of the week. The 4th Precure finally debuted in Wonderful Precure, and she's the best.
Okay.
It was a good art. So basically, the 4 cures have been set up. All characters at the start of the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is this kind of a spoil? Because I'm gonna be watching this show.
Yeah, I've been thinking how much I want to say, because I know you're watching.
Okay.
So I'll just say, arc is very satisfying. It did take 19 episodes to get to it, but I think it was worthwhile and paid off, and I am quite pleased.
Sick.
And it's good. You know what else? You know what isn't good?
No.
Gundam Unicorn.
Hello, Editing Red here. We spoil significant portions of Gundam Unicorn, ending included, so if you want to skip that, go to 42 minutes and 15 seconds. That is 42 minutes and 15 seconds. Oh yeah, you finished your rewatch.
I finished the rewatch. I didn't care for it before, but I think I like it less now.
Yeah. It's
a very stupid show.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's big dumb.
It's that tweet that someone made where it's like, just got back from the Centrist convention. Everyone cheering clearly, cheering passionately. Better things are not possible.
Yeah.
The way that
No, go ahead.
People are trying to solve actual problems, and then Banerjee's like, even so, because with inspiring music, as if he's trying to say better things are possible, but the actual text of the show is he's saying we can't do anything because better things are not possible. We can't actually change anything. I don't. Yeah, it's dumb. The ending is goofy. I only half paid attention at times 2 speed because it's fucking 90 minutes. I don't actually care. It's the fact that it was worse in the novel version because it was written by an Islamophobe is what the fuck?
Yeah.
What are they?
I wonder how much, because the Islamophobia bit is definitely centered on when they're on Earth.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll be interested to find out what the changes are like between the book in terms of the actual everything else. That the stuff that I have heard offhand, horrific.
Yeah.
I don't know too much about the difference in the novel besides the Islamophobia. I'm also just like, what is up with like Full Frontal's plan being entirely reasonable, but also named after Japanese imperialism?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It's just, it's so stupid. It's dumb. It's not. It's a really dumb show. Luckily, it's fan fiction and it's not real.
Yeah, that's my approach to basically everything you see that isn't Tomino.
Even more true now that they're
doing Hathaway.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like even narrative, I'm gonna be real, I kind of like narrative more than I think the average person. I would never call it good, but I think even narrative is like, that was no, that didn't solve anything.
it was very. I can't remember who. It was some bigger name Gundam Twitter account tweeting like some interrogation saying, "Oh, I hear he's like the ghost of Shah," and someone goes, "Oh, you mean like Full Frontal?" And who? Who's that?
Yeah,
stupid.
I don't know what the deal with that is. It's just not good. It's doesn't need to exist. Probably be better if it wasn't. People doing art and putting Banerjee next to like Judo and Camille and Uso is like, who invited you to the team?
Yeah. He just sucks. He's a boy who sucks. He's not like the thing about, because you get people making jokes about mech shows and they have their stereotypes. Tomino's Gundam boys. In fact, I would say most Gundam boys are like characters, like decent like characters with their own different situation and point of view. barring maybe like Seabook, who. And,
my goat.
Is Kira a character?
Kira. No, not Kira. Well, no. Hang on. No, Kira is he's a character. It's just terrible. Who else isn't a cat? I mean, I don't know. The third age boy. That's not. The first two are pretty good.
He who cannot be named, apparently. I don't remember his name. I'll be honest with you.
Oh, the third age boy is called Kyo.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
I know what the first age boy and the third age boy are called. I can't remember the second guy.
the second one.
That's the one.
And
the
then
first
Flit is the first, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, Flit.
No, wait, no. Asuno is their last name. I'm stupid. I forgot that Asumu is the...
Oh, yeah. Who? Oh, Asumu. Yes.
Yeah.
Asumu Asano. Yes. And then, I don't know. Basically everyone else's character. I don't... Anyway, Unicorn back. That's the point. That's the point.
Yeah, Unicorn is the show that, like, for every... I think I've said before about Unicorn, like, for every one thing in that show I like, there's, like, 3 bits where I'm like, the world doesn't work like this. And, like, I like, in a vacuum, I like a lot about that show's, like, individual characters, like Zinnerman, Merida... Mm-hmm. I think if you look at Ride as, like, operating under, he is in some ways the legacy of Amuro. I think there's an interesting, like, little bit of characterization to dig into there. And this is that more broadly, if I can dig into that, I think is my frustration with Unicorn, in that I actually think deep down there are some things about, like, it as a sequel to Char's Counterattack that it does have an understanding of the conflict of Char's Counterattack. Like, I think about the scene too where what's her name? Fucking Aubrey, but not Aubrey. What's her fucking...
Minova
Zabi is talking about how, like, no, like, Char actually did believe in things and, like, wanted a better, like, a betterment for humanity. But that in a vacuum is like, okay, yeah, like, that's, like, something interesting to say that actually goes against what, like, a lot of misreads of Char's Counterattack say.
Some people on Twitter think Char has motivations decided by Dartboard. Apparently.
Yep. Yeah, they're wrong.
I don't think I care for necessarily. I'm interested in their opinions on Gundam in that case. But
yeah,
continue.
But like that scene is in service to Full Frontal is doing a plan where he's just taking the economic situation he's been put in and trying to come up with a way to untangle the hegemonic forces that are, doing a colonialism on the people of space. But deep down, what this is apparently secretly code for is that he wants to do a reverse racism where he's going to flip the status quo and make the people on Earth oppressed, which, people in real life say that shit all the time when people try to make the world better.
Yeah, look at literally anything in colonial liberation movement, like one's happening right now.
Yep.
The thing that makes it double stupid is that that the logic behind that is literally the logic behind the dictatorship of the proletariat is when the majority of the dictators oppressing the minority, eventually you won't need the state. It'll go away.
Me clapping when Vietnam redacts a particularly evil, corrupt business owner.
Yeah. So this idea is like, that's like, you're gonna be oppressing the people that were in power. It's like, yes. Are you fucking stupid?
Look at the way that, like, people
paying attention.
Look at the way people talk about, like, the slaves who revolted in the Haitian Revolution and, like, overthrowing the French slavers. Like, oh, look at all the violence they did to the French people, as if, well, what do you think the French people were doing for, like, hundreds of years? Like,
I'm just imagining, like, Gundam, alternate universe where Full Frontal wins, like, side story where just, like, there's the one annoying kid at like this, I don't know, the fucking side 6 school or so. I just picked a random colony. And it's like, oh yeah,
Shaw took my plantation.
Yeah. That's exactly where I was going with this. Where they're like, we had a monopoly.
Yeah. My family owned the egg monopoly on side 6.
Yeah. And also, that the ghost of Shar showing up at the end of that fucking show. So dumb.
You didn't earn any of this.
It's so dumb.
Bright being himself, though, absolutely.
Oh, it's so funny. You ever just tell the fascists don't press the kill the future button? We're both dads, you'll understand.
No, but I thought Full Frontal was the fascists. He named it after the Japanese imperialism thing.
If you shoot that giant laser, I'll quit. Okay, well, you shot the laser, so I guess I'm not quitting. I'm sorry.
I
can't wait for Hathaway too.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
no, that's what I was about to say something from that, and I was like, I shouldn't. Enough people have not seen that yet that I shouldn't say anything about Hathaway too.
Even though we just kind of just
also I haven't read the book.
Ace.
Yeah, exactly.
I've only seen the first movie.
All I'll say is I'm a big fan of what they do with Bright and the Hathaway stuff.
It's so funny. Like I obviously haven't read the novel, so I can't compare everything. I've only seen the first movie, so I can't compare everything in Unicorn to Hathaway. But it's funny, just like based off what I've seen in that movie and what people have said about Hathaway, just like Hathaway feels like it refutes all of this. It's just like it feels like it just styles on, and if it wasn't for the fact that Hathaway came out 20 years before Unicorn, it'd feel like it was commentating on the stupidness of Unicorn in a way.
Yeah,
but
making
like it does
them
it
in
before.
Oh, yeah.
It did it before.
Adapting them in this order is so mean to Unicorn.
Yeah. It is aggressively funny that after doing all the Unicorn stuff, they're still like poking at that, like, oh, we want to do the UC Next story where we cover the next 100 years of the Universal Century, and like
we need to figure out the origin story of consent.
Yes, but they've been doubling down on like, oh yeah, like all the Victory Cross, but like F-91, like all that stuff is super real, and it's just like they're just giving the middle finger to the Unicorn stuff. Though, like I said, I feel like narrative already kind of does that on its own, which I find relentlessly funny. That movie is so fucking funny.
I don't remember a single thing about it.
It is the most... There's a point where they do one of the most galaxy brain, I don't know how intentional this, like, thing was, of, like, a recurring problematic plot point that happens in a lot of Gundam shows, happens in narrative, but of the character's own volition. And I was like, I don't know how much this is unintentional commentary on the fact this keeps happening, but I'm choosing to believe it is, because it's so much funnier and interesting that way. What a stupid movie. It is the most okay thing I've ever seen in my life, is how I put it. But it is fun for me to think about in how absurd it gets.
Yeah. Also,
Anyway.
I think it's kind of a shame that like the character I like the most in Unicorn is Marida, but also at the same time it's just like in her inclusion it also feels like it's just like bastardizing all the good things about Pla in Double Zeta. I don't know. Mm-hmm. It's just like, oh yeah, we put a Pla in this show. Oh, that's cool. Anyway.
They treat her like shit.
Grossness.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It is funny the way people are like, oh, you should watch, if you absolutely want to watch things, you should watch the Gundam movies, and then Zeta, and then skip Double Zeta, and go to Char's Counterattack, and then you'll be able to watch Unicorn, the thing you said you want to watch. And first of all, I'm like, one, people who do that specifically to watch Unicorn are like, why? And second, people who are being like double Zeta skippers so you can get to Unicorn faster are like
Yes.
He's the one who pulls from the most.
my one thing that I've been saying about Fukui is like, now I don't like this guy, but I'll give him one virtue. The man is gatekeeping the double Zeta skippers.
I do.
Okay. I will say, Mel, you said you had a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I think we should probably should.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you had like a small thing or just like a.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think it's funny / awkward that it really sounds like maybe they were thinking about doing Moon Gundam, but because of current events with a certain voice actor, I really doubt that's happening now.
Is he? Wait, why would
He shows up.
I mean, they'd recast.
Have they done that before for like?
They recast Bright.
Yeah, but I thought that's because he died.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I suppose. They probably would be too against it.
We'll see what happens. It's gonna be awkward now when I get around to watching Sailor Moon, unfortunately. But
yeah. Fuck that guy. Anyways,
fuck
Mel,
you,
carry on.
anyway, as Gundam Unicorn tries and perhaps fails to actually depict class society as a struggle. They were all trapped in. Sometimes you dealt with like a bad hand in life, decked stacked against you, and if you want to push against that, then you really just gotta grab a hold of those handlebars and press full throttle. Anyway, I'm here to talk about the first 14 episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds.
The motorcycle one.
I see the cyberpunk motorcycle Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, I think the show kind of rips, to be honest.
Nice.
It's so for context, I've been picking away at some Yu-Gi-Oh stuff here and there. There was a podcast I found that's like doing Yu-Gi-Oh stuff. It's like, well, I want to watch Yu-Gi-Oh anyway. And they just started their like I did like Season 0 last year, and it was meaning to pick away more at Duel Monsters. I'm still planning to do that, but like they started 5D, so I'm like, well, if I stay current, then that means I'm not gonna have to be endlessly catching up. So, but anyway, 5Ds. It's set in the future. It's the motorcycle one. I think they have like this thing called speed duels as like a thing that only exists in the anime, but like it's like how to get the motorcycle stuff working, and that's kind of neat. It is a show that meant to sell cards to children, so it's not like the most radical text, but at the same time, I'm kind of surprised by the amount of swings they go and like, oh damn, this is just a really cyberpunk class society shit happening. Because like, have either of you actually seen 5Ds at all, or just
No, I was off the Yu-Gi-Oh train by the time that came out.
Okay.
The only Yu-Gi-Oh I ever watched was the Seal of Orichalcos arc.
Yeah, I've seen Scattered. I've seen Scattered, Duel Monsters, and then at some point during COVID, I watched like half of Sevens.
I read a bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh.
I watched the original show when it like came over, and by original show I guess I mean Duel Monsters, not Duel Masters. I need to always make sure I'm not saying that because that's a different thing.
That's a different thing with a very amusing dub, which probably is not actually accurate. But
yes, and a weird PS2 game that I owned as a child and still own. But I watched that and then GX.
But yeah, I tried to watch Duel Monsters whenever I could when I was on TV, and I never got around to GX because I had on and off cable throughout my life, so sometimes it just wasn't easy to watch Yu-Gi-Oh. And then I was an adult, and so when Sevens came out, I was just like, well, it's COVID. I guess I'm gonna want to watch the new Yu-Gi-Oh show. That's a shitpost cartoon thing, which is funny how it works out. But anyway, 5Ds. The setting of this is like there's like the really rich futuristic city of Neo Domino City, and then like somewhere over there is the slum place Satellite, and it's like people in Satellite aren't allowed to have decks, and and like your job there is to do the recycling work for New Domino City. And if you get caught in like doing crimes as like a satellite person, you get like marked with like a kind of like you get like a tattoo kind of thing on your face that's like a tracking device thing. And it's like, oh, you've broken the law. You were being sent to prison for like corrective re-education, and then you're gonna do like 6 months of hard labor before we send you back to that place. And it's like, damn, they're going harder with like the, you know, carceral state and like, you know, the rich upper classes rely on the labor of the oppressed over underclasses for like, you know, their affluent society kind of thing. You know, it's pretty cool. You know, you got the protagonist is Yusei, who's like trying to he broke out a satellite into New Domino City because like his rival, the king, Jack Atlas, who's like I guess this season's Kaiba, he used to be like their friend in Satellite with them, but like at one point years ago, Yusei built a motorcycle and then Jack Atlas stole it, and then has become the king duelist in New Domino City. And so Yusei built a new bike and broke into there, and he gets to prison. He's thrown in jail for like a couple episodes, and then he breaks out, and then there's more stuff going on, but like the current episodes end with like after 14 episodes is basically meeting presumably most of the core cast. There's obviously going to be more characters, obviously, but it's like sort of like setting the stage with like for the next few episodes where the Yusei's being entered in the tournament because there's another thing going on where there's like instead of ancient Egypt magic, there's like ancient Inca magic and the Nazca lines and stuff about dragons, which presumably is where the 5Ds in the name come from. Because there's
they're 5 dragons.
Yeah, because there's like guys called signers.
Very different
like,
show from what I assumed.
Yeah, like dragon tattoos, and they're like there's something with prophecies of dragons and stuff that who knows. There's only 14 episodes of like this over 100 episode show, so we'll see. And this is also the season which introduced like synchro summoning as the main gameplay gimmick, which is a thing I always thought neat. One thing I think is fun is that like Jack and Yusei have like, you know, white and red and black. Like Jack's getup is like white and blue, and then Yusei's is like red and black, but like they have signature dragon cards, and like they're like the inverted colors, which is fun. Don't ignore the fact that like the bike that Jack stole from Yusei, which is he comes his own, is the white one, and then Yusei's personal one now is the red one. Don't ask how that works. It's fine. Rival color symbology. It's cool. But yeah, I like it so far. I think it's Yusei is the people's duelist. He's gonna smash the state.
Yeah, he's gonna smash the system
by participating in it against his will.
Damn.
I don't know. He's for whatever reason the rich higher ups are like, well, because he has a dragon tattoo, we are going to like force his hand into our weird duelist plans. It is just funny the way they like, you know, cops dueling people to like beat them up and imprison them. But
oh my god.
Well, it's part of it is like there's this one cop who he's fought like 3 times in the first 12 episode because he's just like, you say are my rival, and I really have to like capture you to redeem my record. And Yusei's like, I don't care, please leave me alone. I mean, the cops do use actual violence like electrical rods, but you know.
Right, but they duel the criminals they're trying to catch?
This one guy does.
Okay.
I think one of my friends described it best, where it's like, this show makes a lot more sense if you just like accept that Duel Monsters is like a magic system and not like actually a card game.
Right, yes.
Because otherwise it's just like, why? It's like the Pokemon thing where it's like, you know, the mafia like runs away when you beat their Pokemon.
Right, yeah.
I do think like, you know, obviously you have to like put in the work to just like suspend your disbelief because it's like a card game show, but I think you do that. Like, works pretty well.
Yeah.
The show really does go fuck the cops, which is fun. But yeah, so far I'm enjoying it. So we'll see how that goes.
Cool.
I have two other things which I might just bundle into one real quick.
Okay.
I saw the movie Robot Jocks, which was kind of whatever. It's basically just like a kind of G Gundam-esque story where it's like, oh, war has been outlawed, so we're doing mecha battles. It has like decent effects. Green screen that reminds me of Return of Ultraman in terms of its quality.
Oh, excellent.
And it has some good, fun, cheesy acting moments, but for the most part, I think it's like unremarkable in terms of like, their actual writing and stuff like that. And I probably wouldn't have much to say about it if I had not watched the movie the immediate next day by coincidence that fired similar neurons in my head. That's just way better in every way. Because last night I also watched the 1997 movie Starship Troopers.
Oh, there you go.
That is a sick movie.
Yeah. Starship Troopers. Fucking amazing. Really good.
Yeah.
I do think it helps, like, to go into that movie knowing it's satire, because I feel like maybe if you didn't, it would... some things are very obvious, but also...
Let me tell you what a lot of critics at the time did not
know.
I think the thing that has sealed the deal on Starship Troopers and its legacy is that 9/11 happened, and then Starship Troopers happened. Looking at Starship Troopers and being like, this came out before 9/11. It's like, we just called it. You just fucking called it like it was gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Both movies are both kind of like in a dystopian kind of setting, and like I feel Starship Trooper is more satirical and like commentating on it. Like I think like there's some of that in the background of Robot Jocks. The way it's like there's kind of like a militarization in the police state, even though it's all based on like single combat mechs, and like there's weirdness about like we gotta avoid like population control stuff. Which but isn't really the focus of the movie, and I feel like there isn't much of an arc stuff. The most entertaining character in the movie are the villains. Like there's this like it's 1990, so it's still wrapped in like the really dumb noble Americana versus the evil Soviet imperial menace with like the Russian villain, who I'm pretty sure is just like an American guy putting on a really bad accent. Kind of like laughing gleefully as like he wins the robot fight and then like crushes the cockpits after he wins and kills the enemy pilots.
That's like the third rule of the Gundam fight. You can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't.
It's just like, oh, this is really the peak of like Americans just treating Soviets the same as Nazis, uncritically. Maybe like the people who like Gundam Unicorn, but anyway. And meanwhile, Starship Trooper is like basically like, oh, this is like depicting a fascist society, but not. It's like kind of like a satirical way without like necessarily. Like, I don't know how to describe it. Like it's satirical, but I wouldn't say it like necessarily draws attention to it and winks the camera. It's more just like.
It has been described as the movie itself is a propaganda movie made by people from Starship Troopers land. Yeah,
because like you have like throughout the movie you kind of have like interruptions which are like propaganda stuff like, hey, we're gonna execute this guy. Hey, the bug's gotta be destroyed. Would you like to know more?
Yes.
And of course you have all the like iconic shots of like, I'm doing my part, or the infantry made me the man I am today, and cuts to
yes.
like,
yeah.
And it's just like, there's just more there in Starship Troopers. Like, it does feel like to some degree apples and oranges, because one's like a mecha movie and one's like a space war movie, but at the same time they're both kind of like, it feels like they're in the sort of like American jingoism milieu, so to speak. And I feel like Starship Troopers just does things better. Also, I think the effects are a bit better. Like, props to Robot Jocks for those stop motion robot stuff, but otherwise, like, I like the Greebles on the spaceships and stuff in Starship Troopers. I like the bugs.
The Starship Troopers arachnids, when I first watched Starship Troopers, I was shocked what year it was from.
Yeah,
like judging from the CGI stuff. It's incredible.
And I've seen
Looks good.
I've seen some animatronics on Twitter too, and like, yeah, they look really, really cool. And yeah, it's like, yeah, it's just good. It is also funny how like both movies in the climax kind of have like a final episode of Gundam moment. First Gundam, I mean.
Yes, I guess, yes, Casper Van Dien does have an Amuro moment at the end of Starship Troopers.
Yeah, that does happen. Somehow, Neil Patrick Harris is a new type in this setting. Which
he's more in line with
Pactimus.
The Frost Brothers, is that what they're called?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, he's like a member of the Titans, basically. But
he is.
It is funny just being like, I've known for years Neil Patrick Harris is in this movie, but I do get jump scared whenever he shows up in a scene. My brain rejects.
Jump scared by SS Neil Patrick Harris. He shows up in the leather black coat and everything.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I know you're in this movie, but my brain rejects it.
Yes.
And yeah, the Robot Jocks one is like, end of Gundam, first Gundam, robots are destroyed, so they just start fighting with like lead pipes. I do think the last scene in the movie is pretty decent.
I love Volta's 5.
Yeah. I wonder where Topino got that.
I do like calling when people get out of their robots and have sword fights. I have taken to being annoying and calling it a Voltes 5 reference.
I mean, it could just be that, to be honest.
I mean,
Voltes 5 is important to the culture.
It is important, but once Gundam hits, it's like there's no going back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yes, the 7 out of 10 shows that like I then watch the final episode and I go, oh, that was like the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Like that's how I feel about Voltes. Like Voltes is pretty alright and goofy fun for most of it.
I still need to watch it.
But like that finale is really good.
You have never seen a hater like Prince Heinel.
There is a part of me that goes like, oh, the Philippines government banned it for being like anti-authoritarian, and I'm like, this show? I don't see the insightful political commentary in Voltes, but culture takes on a meaning of its own. So I respect. I think it's cool.
I think there's some direct stuff at the end, like towards the end, that it is in reference to. But yes, it's not exactly incredibly hard hitting like revolutionary. But it's it's a TV show for children. You could you would have been fine. Obviously they weren't in the end, but they would have been. It wasn't going to topple your dictatorship.
Alternate version of Voltes 5, where like it just tells you, look at the screen, you should sign up for the CPP.
Lol.
I think it's cool that like Voltes and Deimos made such a big impression that they have their own like modern live action versions now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do think that's fun.
Deimos one isn't out yet, but I've heard the Voltes one's pretty good from people who watched it. So
I have to watch Deimos. I watched the OP and I realized that the transformation sequence is an Italian job. They're doing the car going into the back of the truck from the Italian job. I have to watch this show.
I have to watch it, but I also have to watch Combat OP, which I would have done first because that was the first one. But
I think I'm going to be the person who just skips that one. I'm just like, I'm okay.
I feel like I want to know. I just watched Voltes 5, of course, because, like, that was the GGP backup show.
Yeah, anyway.
But yeah.
Anyway, we were talking about Robot Jocks.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there isn't as much to say about Robot Jocks. I feel like I said all there was, and, there's going to be, like, the Robot FM podcast about it, where they'll probably say more. I don't think I need to say much. The main point was just like, oh, that was interesting, and then I watched Starship Troopers, was like, damn, this is just better, and it feels like it's kind of in the same space, even though it doesn't look like it at first blush, and so it just feels like I accidentally walked into a coughing baby hydrogen bomb situation, which I think is funny.
Mel, have you seen RoboCop?
No, I think I need to.
You should watch that. I think that'd be a fun follow-up for you, because it very much is also, like, taking the piss out. It's right in that same wheelhouse of Verhoeven stuff. I think you'd like it.
I should watch it. It is funny, just as a side, that there are multiple Metal Heroes series that are based off of RoboCop. I'm not going to take the conversation any further, but it's a funny observation. Anyway, yeah. That's my stuff.
If that's your stuff, you mentioned Giant Robot FM, so I should just say they had me on recently for Moonrace Wireless. Thank you very much to them.
Yeah.
That was a good episode.
Yeah.
It's a Patreon episode, so it's not necessarily available for everyone, but yeah. Thank you to Stephen here and PMC. All right. Are we ready to talk about some fucking Ultraman?
Yes.
Yes.
It's going to take a bit until we get to the bit that is going to be a conversation topic. First episode 25, is called Pyramid is a Choju's Nest, which doesn't... Is that the title?
Yes.
Pyramid is a terrible monster's nest, says the book, but yes.
Okay. Featuring ancient Choju Sphinx. Behold, a pyramid in space. Outside of school, Hokuto and Minami are called in to investigate some weird photochemical smog or something, but they can't find anything. That is...
Kids just start fainting.
Kids just start fainting. Yeah. They don't find anything until the tip of a pyramid emerges from the ground and emits red smoke. It also seems to emit a woman who doesn't suffer any effects from the smoke. Her name is Michiru, and Hokuto and Minami take her and all the injured to a hospital. Michiru leaves the hospital on her own, however, and takes a hit of red smoke from a bag. A couple of guys ask her if they can have a try. I guess they figured this must be some good shit. She asks for directions to TAC HQ, and in return, she gives them a bag of smoke. It does not go well for these guys. RIP. They can't handle it.
Don't
on the
do
bus,
drugs, kids.
Don't do drugs, kids. On the bus towards TAC HQ, Michiru becomes agitated and takes a hit from another bag of red smoke. But obviously, this causes the problem that everyone on the bus, driver included, is going to fall unconscious from the red smoke. The bus starts careening wildly, but luckily, Hokuto and Minami are driving by, and Hokuto leaps onto the bus and brings it under control. He realizes Michiru is here, and he and Minami take her in. At base, Hokuto defends Michiru, saying, it could be a coincidence that she was at two sites of red smoke and seems to be the one person unaffected in both instances.
Guy who went to the biker camp.
Yeah, and Minami is like, are you fucking stupid? What? Kono thinks maybe Hokuto's got a thing for Michiru. For now, the captain says, I will keep Michiru here and we'll keep an eye on her. If she's guilty of something, it will become clear. Meanwhile, Michiru is sneaking around, using red smoke to knock out guards. How much of this red smoke does she fucking have?
She got a lot of these bags.
She's got a deep bag. And planting a bomb on a warehouse where TAC's new missile, V9, is under construction. Speaking of how much smoke does Michiru have, how many missiles do TAC have? Michiru flees, but Minami finds the bomb in time and disables it. Michiru returns to the pyramid that has emerged from the ground and talks to it. This pyramid is a structure belonging to alien Orion. Orion scolds Michiru as she failed her mission and then kidnaps the pursuing Minami using some kind of teleporter thing. So what's the deal with Orion? Well, Earth was once a colony of Orion, and a great flood took place, and the Orion locked themselves in a pyramid for 13,000 years to survive. Michiru gets rejected by Orion because 1, she failed, and 2, she's beginning to like Earthlings. And she's like, no way. Tak stages an attack, and in the middle of this, Hokuto finds Michiru, and she confesses she planted a bomb. Hokuto slaps her, hero. The pyramid opens, and a Choju is inside. This is Sphinx. In the ensuing fight, Hokuto takes a hit, and Michiru finds him again and confesses her identity. She is an alien Orion spy. She asks him to forgive her. Let me take a breath. What's next? Minami is crucified on top of the pyramid, preventing Tak from launching V9 to destroy it. Hokuto flies in, ejects, and he and Minami transform.
In broad daylight in front of everyone.
The entire crew has to have seen that transformation.
Don't worry, it won't be relevant for long.
Anyway, the fight continues. Michiru plays some reed whistles to calm down the Choju and leads it away, but the pyramid captures her like it did with Minami. Ace uses the sword to decapitate Sphinx, and the fight briefly continues until Sphinx gets exploded. Ace throws the pyramid into the sky and detonates it with the Spacian beam. He then takes Michiru back to Orion. The pyramid in space vanishes, and a new star appears next to Orion. It's Michiru. The end.
I was holding my breath for like half this episode and being like, are they gonna say the fucking Orion people built the fucking pyramids? And they never go there. But the threat looms hard over the whole episode.
Should have saved the Edward Said book for this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got Pyramid Choju. Finally, I've been asking for this type of racism for a year now.
I wonder where the Orion colonization stuff fits into the timeline with the non-malt.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
That's a good question.
Well, they say something about a flood.
Yeah.
Oh,
the non-malt
came in the flood.
But the non-malt weren't originally aquatic.
Oh, were they not? Oh, no,
that's true.
Yes,
the humans drove them to the sea.
Yes.
Maybe it's more complicated. Maybe like they're amphibious and like the flood allowed them to sort of like claim the land, and then humanity rose up and drove them back into the sea.
Maybe.
That makes sense.
Maybe the non-malt were colonized by the Orion. Well, who knows?
Oh, maybe. It's possible. Snoop Dogg tells us only one person has outsmoked him. It's Michiru. She's just fucking pulling those bags out just on the fucking bus.
Now, my read of the bus scene is, I think, even dumber than what you stated. I think she just forgot to close the bag all the way.
Yeah.
That was that was what I took away from that. And then she was like, oh no, it's leaking.
Yeah, she didn't. She took it without regard for who else around her or whether this would affect her plans.
I mean, I'll give her this. She can't breathe without it. She needs it. Like it's a part of her biology. She needs to breathe that smoke. But awkward timing. Bad timing. Yeah. So, what do we think about this episode?
That's okay.
Were it not for the Orientalism, I would like this one a lot. That it is like this. It just being a Sphinx of just like, okay, this losing some points here.
I think the Sphinx would work better if it was just like not tied to aliens.
Yeah,
I think you're allowed to just have a Sphinx monster sometimes, but I think you just gotta like, you know.
This is some classic tone of weird stuff about pyramids. We were just talking about Yu-Gi-Oh earlier in this show.
And 5Ds has the Nazca lines.
5Ds has there's like the mixed thing of like I recognize that this sucks. Also, the pyramids are kind of cool.
I think the pyramid's cool. I think Sphinx is a cool looking design.
Yeah, I think
the concept of the like the Orion like having like colonized the planet before and they're coming back sort of thing is fun.
Mm-hmm. I like that when I Google Choju Sphinx, a lot of the images I get are just of the Sphinx and not of the Choju. Um,
We haven't Fate to go to yet.
yeah. The fake grand ordering of various historical figures is extremely funny.
People who are actually scholars of Charlemagne's myths shaking their heads every time they Google.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm mostly pretty all right. Like, not high on this episode, but like I think it's okay.
How many times has Hokuto slapped a woman?
Yeah, times Hokuto has slapped like the things that are barrier to enjoyment. Hokuto slapping woman, he just does that.
How many times?
But he's so nice to them all the time. He's too kind to the women. That stuff did also make like the whole like, oh, Minami doesn't trust her and Hokuto's maybe too nice to her, and like that kind of grated on me. I'm not gonna lie.
It's funny the degree to which everyone else in TAC is just like, well, she's correct, you know?
Yeah, everyone's just like, it's okay. Well, we won't summarily execute Michiru on account of the fact that we have to preserve Hokuto's feelings, I guess. Yamanaka just being like, Hokuto, what are you talking about? Minami's clearly correct. What the fuck is wrong with you? That's awesome. Just weird like Hokuto Minami drama that is just about to be irrelevant.
Yeah. I think it's funny that the hippies don't know what TAC are.
Yeah, one of them's like, oh, they're like monster attacking guys, right? Yeah, they're like that way.
And then Hokuto's like, it's terrible monster attacking guys, get it right.
The terrible. We don't attack monsters. Only terrible monsters. Good monsters, no.
What does the C stand for again? Is it crew?
Yeah.
Crew.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why I sometimes refer to them as the crew.
Yeah.
It goes, what is it? Gang squad, guard, team, crew.
Yeah. Even though squad wasn't actually...
When are we getting a murder of attack team members?
Listen, I think
the murder.
I think we've already had a bunch of those.
Yeah.
This is true. There was like a great fake out on the death of the Choju this episode. The decapitation happened and then fight continued for a little bit. I was like, oh, that's fun. But otherwise, I don't,
Yeah, I think
this is kind of a.
It's normal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think this is like real. Oh, Yapul being gone means they don't have to care. We
just make Ultraman.
This is kind of just an Ultraman episode.
Yeah, like I did actually. I'm happy you referenced that because I did get that feeling too of like, oh, the extra space allowed when we don't have the Yapul is like we can get some like other aliens in here that kind of feels a little bit more from like what we've seen previously, which I feel mixed about because on one hand, you're taking away the individuality and like uniqueness of your one show to go back to the thing from last time. But on the other hand,
we'll have lots of discussion about that later.
More. Yeah, exactly.
Alien Orion just being like, yeah, Yapul give us a call and say it was time. And I was like, okay.
Yeah. Brad, who made this episode?
This was made by Masanori Kake and also written by Masao Saito. Kake was the director.
Cool. Mal.
Hi. Special director for this episode is Koichi Kawakita. Brad, do you know who that is now?
Repeat the name.
Koichi Kawakita. He was the one who gave the bio for the episode you weren't here for.
Oh yeah, I believe. Yeah.
Okay.
That rings a bell.
The alien Orion head is literally just like the demon Yapul head thing. Which is why I think they inverted the colors to mask it. Cause that's the thing that happens. Like every scene you see Alien arrive, and it's like inverted colors for some reason, and it's weird.
Mm-hmm.
The Sphinx is designed by Yoshio Suzuki. The suit actor is Toru Kawai, who was previously the suit actor for episode 1 to 12 of the show, for the Choju, sorry. And he is going to be the guy for 25 to 29. So I guess this entire batch, and then one from next week, or next time. Also, it was mentioned on Easter's Kaiju blog that the book Chariot of the Gods, the Ancient Aliens book, was published 2 years prior to this episode. And so maybe the authors did just read this.
Did it, like, I'm curious now how, like, did that book make its way to Japan?
That one, I don't know.
Yeah, like,
it's hard to tell how much stuff made it to Japan, and the guys were like, oh, hey, this thing, or how much those guys were like, had enough of a finger on the pulse of like Western sci-fi or science stuff to just like hear about this thing.
See, that's true, because that's the other thing. Like, we know there are people that are doing like fan magazines around this time that, like, maybe even if they don't have access to Star Trek, are talking about and hyping up Star Trek and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so
like,
that is true.
Like, Lost in Space, the American show, was an inspiration for Ultra 7 because it was on TV in Japan. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's hard to tell because we weren't in the era, but yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I got for this episode anyway.
Sick. Do we have anything else to say about this episode? It feels like we've gone very brief on it. However,
listen,
we do have
three more episodes.
There's more meaty episodes to discuss, I think.
We have 2 big events coming up. So,
yeah.
Episode 26 of Ultraman Ace is called Total Defeat, The 5 Ultra Brothers, featuring Inferno Alien Hippolyte.
I just want to say first, I think the OP changed for this one, and not the OP itself, but like the stinger before the OP. Like I noticed, because like at the start of before the OP plays, there's usually a bunch of kaiju roars, but I think this time it switched to like the Ace transformation sound.
Can I tell you? I quickly, out of curiosity, I watched the OP for episode 29. It didn't change.
Yeah, I heard that too. The gall.
So
I was wondering about that. I'm happy you didn't.
I watched the next time on, and I was like, oh well, I guess if I know kind of what's happening at the next episode, it's not going to hurt to see the title of what's up next episode. So I watched the opening, and I was like, oh, that's funny. I just had to know. Okay. So, the giant Choju, Alien Hippolyte, appears and demands to face Ultraman Ace, or else humanity will be destroyed. But while Tak attacks, Ace does not. Hokuto and Minami get a warning not to transform from somewhere in their heads, as they will be beaten. But they still fly at Hippolyte anyway, intending to transform when they crash, and instead they fly straight through the Choju. Alien is not a... We'll get... Hippolyte summons a model of Ace and decapitates it for a laugh. The captain is angry that Hokuto and Minami ignored orders to do such a reckless thing, and Kono is like, yeah, but we learned valuable information. And the captain says, you can say that because Hokuto and Minami are unharmed. Watch your mouth. Based Captain Ryu!
he's the best guy.
He's the coolest guy. On the way back to base, members of TAC run into the pub... Is it here that they've run into the public, or is that next episode?
I think it's next episode.
I think it's next episode.
It's next episode. I have inserted this based on my memory of next episode. Speaking of Ace, Hokuto and Minami wonder if they can't turn into Ace anymore, and then spot a car crash. The man in the crash dies, but not before claiming to have been attacked by a Choju and asking Hokuto to give this Ultraman Ace model to his son. The model is headless, though. Is this the model that Hippolyte destroyed? How could the Choju attack here while Hippolyte was over there where the fight took place?
Yeah, and the figure was so big.
So yeah, Hokuto starts talking about how the dead guy mentioned a Choju and how it might be connected to the alien, and I was like, oh no, are we differentiating these? I'm not going to keep track of that.
I am not differentiating on this order.
No.
I mean, I include Ultraman on this order, so that just shows how little I differentiate.
Yeah, it was when he was like, oh, yeah, but that Hipporit's an alien and this Hipporit's a Choju, and I was like, that's not true, is it? Is it, Ultraman? Hokuto presents a number of theories back at base for why Hipporit might not be where they think it is, including shadow cloning, projecting a shadow onto the sky, and telekinesis. Kaji is like, how can you talk about telekinesis? It's so unscientific, and I'm gonna kill these motherfuckers.
Remember when they talked about telekinesis in episode 4 as like a valid theory?
I'm gonna kill these guys.
There are two like wildly contrasting like team ideologies of like, oh yeah, I guess, I don't know, just run some electricity through it and like, I don't know, something psychic will happen. Or like, oh yeah, this dinosaur totally just lived until today. To anytime anything weird happens, like, oh, you fucking idiot, why would you bring this up to the monster killing team? Like, it's no one can be normal.
So, Tak intends to use a cell-destructive gun missile bomb. It's one of those three. But Yamanaka maybe wonders if, possibly, just a little suggestion. Perhaps we could give up Ace, maybe? Just maybe. And the captain is having none of it. Tak's duty is to fight alien invasion. Hokuto wants to take the model to the dead guy's son, and Ryu, hero that he is like, hang on, let's both go, and let's buy one that isn't fucking broken. The two arrive to give the gift to the boy, and he breaks it, and is big mad that Ace didn't appear to fight the Choju and save his dad.
He also has a terrible voice.
So, multiple things terrible about this child. This kid is rocking the Kishida haircut, and it was vile to witness. I don't understand why, but the idea of a child with Kishida's haircut was physically repulsive to me. Tak deploys again, and this time, nothing changes. It's still the same situation. The cell-destructive, it looks like a bomb, but they call it a missile and a gun. It doesn't work. Hokuto, because the thing they're attacking isn't there. It's not there because Hokuto said it's probably not there, and Hokuto's always right. Hokuto and Minami crash and transform, and we literally see Mikawa witness Ultraman Ace emerging from Hokuto and Minami's crash, and her face light up. Ace flies away from the fight, and people begin to feel doubt, but not to worry. Ace is just on the way to where the real Hipporit is, in a big tube. Ace attacks, and Hipporit traps him in a tube and freezes him in carbonite. Before getting defeated, Ace called in help from the Ultra Brothers. The bros arrive, and Zoffy and OG Ultraman are fucking useless. They immediately get got by tubes. Ultraman 2, the second Ultraman, gets got next while he's trying to save the others, and 7 goes out last after putting up a proper fight against Hipporit. This is a Moroboshi Dan respect zone. The 5 Ultra Brothers are dead and will never return. Never return. At the end.
Nope.
Anyway, next episode.
Mm-hmm. Do we want to talk about this episode or just move on to the next one?
I want to just move on, I think, personally.
Yeah, I think they're so intertwined.
Let's go in. Episode 27, Miracle, Father of Ultra. Featuring, they only needed to mention one of these. Featuring Father of Ultra, the 5 Ultra Brothers, and Alien Hipporit.
Ultraman.
Alien
Kaiju confirmed.
Yeah. Alien Hipporit announces that Tak should surrender and humanity will be slaves. Give in or else. The captain declines, and Yoshimura is a little bit concerned that there's nothing they can do, so we might as well surrender. Hipporit gives Tak some time to think about it. The public confront Tak, and the captain justifies his position. He asks them to please have faith in Tak, or else all humanity will be slaves. Back at base, the crew discuss their options for hours. The captain requests a cell-destructive weapon for mobile use, so a gun he could fire at the alien himself. He also asks Mikawa to take away the flowers she's brought for Hokuto and Minami, as he believes in his heart they are both still alive. Next on the list, the captain visits the boy whose dad died from last episode and personally apologizes, as it seems the alien they couldn't find was responsible for his death after all. The boy is now angry that Tak is resisting Hippolyte. If we'd just given up in the first place, my dad and Ace would both still be alive. The captain defends himself again. He tells the boy, the Earth is not just yours, it's everyone's. And now Hippolyte wants to take it. Hippolyte may be strong, but it is one life. If we exchange a life for a life, we will win. Which is the fucking coolest thing. He's like, either if we exchange a life for a life, we will win. And then looks the kid in the eye and says, I will definitely avenge your dad.
I do think it's funny in the earlier part of this speech, where he was like, if someone took something from you, you'd be mad, right? And it's like, oh, you mean the kid who's mad that his dad was taken from him? Maybe?
Yes. It's very silly. Back at, before the captain goes, the family gives him the dad's good luck charm. Back at base, Captain Ryu insists on a plan where the rest of the crew attack the fake Hippolyte, and he sneaks around to attack the real one. This works right up until it comes down to actually killing the real Hippolyte. The rest of the crew have to come save the captain from getting crushed, and they get shot down by missiles to the tune of the fucking Offenbach can-can. What's that in the sky? Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's Dad. The father of the Ultra brothers is here. He's got big horns, some beard-like accents on the face, and he gets his shit wrecked and dies. He tears off his color timer and throws it onto Ace, so Ace revives and fights Hippolyte. Ace wins, Hippolyte is defeated, and Mikawa is like, Ace might be back, but the Ultra brothers are dead. No, they are not. Don't believe that for a second. The Ultra brothers revive, and all the bros mourn their dad, who is legit dead for real. They fly his corpse away to space. Hokuto and Minami appear and return to the crew. Later, the captain gives the luck charm back to the kid. A new star twinkles in the night sky. The father of Ultra. Where's my dad's star? Asks the kid. It's the same one, says Hokuto at the end.
Don't worry about it. It's also
all fathers share the same star.
Kid, shut up. It's the end of the episode. So yeah, Dad, hi Dad, bye Dad.
Yeah, this guy doesn't fucking. I care more about Zoffy than this guy.
It is funny. He's built up and he does his Zoffy role, and what kind of feels like this would be like final episode of the show material, almost in a way.
I was thinking,
spoilers. It kind of is the final episode of Ace, kind of.
I was thinking this should have been what they did to take out the fucking Yapul.
Yeah,
like
I think that makes more sense.
Yeah, but that one guy just like I'm gonna just do it this episode. I don't give a shit. Yeah. So that wasn't possible. That wasn't in the cards. But I see. That's my thing. Is like I actually think Hippolyte pretty cool monster, and like they sell the villainy really well. But
it just feels weird that like they killed Yapul and then got this guy.
Yeah, and then the father of Ultra shows up with like no real build up. It's weird.
The father of the brothers who are definitely related.
Yes. The captain is doing his best to try to carry this show on his back the entire time. He's just his weird momentum in these episodes where he's like the main character on his way to like a suicide mission. Then it's just it's irrelevant because the father of Ultra has to show up and do things. Is like we are again seeing the limitations of the superhero has to come save the day. Even in the episode where the superhero has to be saved by the why is the father of Ultra showing up? Tak should save Ultraman.
It did feel like a humanity has to take over thing, but also you have Tag and Dad, I guess.
Yeah. Silly.
Yeah. Tag and Dad
weird mix of stuff. Yeah, Tag fucking immediately. He doesn't even put up a good fight. He gets his shit rocked. Man. The horns do nothing. They're just like handles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else is there to say about what's going on? What's going on in these episodes besides that?
I like the part where Kaiji is like, I know the science guy, but I want to go out with you guys on this mission.
Oh yeah. He's like, really insistent.
Yeah, he's like, I don't want to be the last one.
Oh,
I don't want to be the only one left.
So he says, I don't want to be the only one who lives, and then the captain says, we're not going to die. And Kaji doesn't believe that for a second, and he's like, I understand. I would like to come with you. It's cool.
It's good.
It's good.
I did kind of roll my eyes at, like, oh, the people, like, the foolish masses are all too willing to become slaves, like, and only the...
Yes.
Do you remember which country, which time period this show is being made?
Yeah.
Douglas MacArthur's Star in the Sky shining down.
I mean, it's just a general vibe of, like, the old it's sort of like persona logic.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, to be clear,
how
I think
tyranny happens.
To be clear, I think an American show would also do the same thing.
Yeah. I just mean this is kind of like Persona 5's like the reason that tyranny happens is because you the viewer, the player, have not taken personal responsibility for your destiny. You have through cowardice you have given away your liberty.
Yeah.
Which is yeah.
In real life, it'd just be like TikToks of Hippolyte being hit by missiles before with brief flashes where a red triangle appears over him.
Skibbity Toilet versus Hippolyte.
Why? That's not at all what I was going for.
As like a so you know, I don't think this is not like a real like politics. This is like a personal call to people. Not this is like we can see this from the moment when like he like talks directly to the kid, where it's like this is like an appeal to children to be like less willing to give up on things and take what's easier, which is like a common thing you can appeal to when you're making a show for children, because children have lots of hardship and decisions ahead of them.
And I do like how he frames it as your choice has consequence, and I think it's nice that the leader of the team is the one to deliver this too, where he's saying your choice has consequences for people more than just yourself, and you also need to consider that.
Yeah, that's good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a nice little message for a child watching a show.
Ryu, your choice not to take a maid had consequences for that guy's house.
Yeah. So the fuck that guy's house. Yeah. I don't know. These are like fine episodes, and then the Father of Ultra shows up, and it's supposed to be a big deal, and it's not. And I'm like, well, in order to have this not a big deal happen, you kind of sabotage the bit where TAC were going to be the heroes.
That's
Yeah.
That exactly was where I landed with this, where I'm just like, Ryu shows up and starts shooting this guy, and it's so cool.
Yeah.
Do we have anything more to say about this episode before I ask Brad who made it?
Just real quick. Now that we've talked about this episode, you can click this like photo I put in the chat. This is like one of the first photos I took in Tokyo. But I obviously didn't send it until now for very obvious reasons.
I see.
It's the Father of Ultra.
Yeah, there he is.
Selling something.
Selling, I think.
Sort
What's
of...
he selling?
I'm gonna guess it's like a shaving cream or something.
It's called Chap Up. Get your chap up.
Yeah.
That sounds like actually I don't like that. Sounds like euphemism. All right. Brad, who made this episode?
Both of these episodes were made by directed by Masanori Kake again, and then written by Shigemitsu Taguchi. Don't feel like this is the best we've seen from either of them necessarily.
Mm-hmm. Oh well.
Yeah.
Mel. Oh, go ahead.
Every time they bring in the other Ultra Brother, like, I don't think it's ever worth it or cool. Like, I'm not. Ultra 7 showing up should make me go, wow, Ultra 7's here. And I never once have I think, been watching this show and have gotten that excited when, like, one of these fuckers shows up, in Ace specifically, I should say.
I liked it when they got crucified.
The crucifixion one was good, but
yeah.
Otherwise, I do think it's just kind of goofy. And also, I think it doesn't help when it's like they insist usually on having all of them show up, except for Zoffy. He shows up sometimes by himself for 3 seconds.
And God bless him for it.
Zoffy's got to get his numbers up.
Yeah.
Everyone else got mad KD. He's just like, oh, okay. I guess I'm getting those assists in.
Yeah, he can't match Ultraman's.
No. 2 billion.
Yeah.
It ain't happening.
Yeah.
Mal.
Special director for both is Koichi Kawakita. Alien Hippolyte was designed by Yoshi Suzuki. Apparently, the original design was green and pink instead of like the red and one we got.
Green and pink?
Yeah. I don't know how that was going to work.
What a combination.
Astro City arcade cabinet colors.
I was going to think Kamen Rider X8. Anyway.
I can't think of anything that's green and pink.
Father of Ultra was apparently designed via fan contest after Ace had started airing. It seems the suit was repurposed from the suit they used for Zoffy in episode 1 of Ace. Because I guess maybe they made a second one for Zoffy in subsequent ones? I don't know. It didn't say.
Is he that important they needed a second suit for him?
And apparently that Zoffy suit was originally purposed for an Ultraman 2 suit from Return of Ultraman, which I guess also had multiple ones. The wiki just said that, and I was like, this raises more questions for me than it answered, actually.
This is fucking Super Aya Productions. Can someone who is the economy please help me with this? And it's $100,000 spent on Zoffy.
He's the really important guy who shows up at the pivotal, climatic, emotional scene at the end of the final episode of Ultraman, which is very important.
Yeah. What? Question. What about Ultra 7's manager?
Oh, you know.
All right. Well, do we have anything more to say about these episodes? I feel like we should, but
we probably should. But maybe that part of that is we not wanting to get to the next episode.
All right, let's go.
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah, go for it.
I just saw Brad typing.
Was I? Oh shit! No, that's just my hand on the keyboard.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
oops. Sorry.
All right. Yeah, I guess I don't know. I feel like this episode should feel like this 2-parter should feel like more of a big deal, and I guess I enjoyed but I don't know.
I think it being in such close proximity to the Yapul stuff is just weird.
Yeah,
it's weird how often they're hitting us with like big events. I'm like, well, slow down. You have so much show to go. I don't know how they. Anyway, episode 28. Goodbye, Yuko, Sister of the Moon, featuring Full Moon Choju lunatics. Now, this is probably going to be like a kind of reversed ratio in terms of summary to
discussion.
How much we talk about it.
Now, hold on, Red. I have my own summary I can do, if you'd like.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
This one is going to be weirdly short. On patrol, the boys talk about how beautiful the moon is, and Minami dismisses them as a bunch of romantics. She witnesses a light shine from the moon and begins behaving weirdly and talking like, it's coming, and that choju. A choju appears and makes the water of a hot springs begin to boil. Tak deploys to attack, and Minami sees the choju and says something like, lunatics. So it's true. And Hokuto's like, okay, you gotta explain this shit. You're being fucking weird. Minami explains that she is not an earthling. She's from the moon. The moon was once lush, but is now a desolate wasteland because of the Choju lunatics. She is a sole survivor that fled to Pluto and has been deployed here on a secret mission all this time. And Hokuto's like, all this time? And Minami's like, yes, definitely. All this time. Absolutely. Ever since episode 1. Together, they transform into Ace and burrow into the earth to fight lunatics in the crust before it can cause volcanic disruptions that turn Earth into a place as desolate as the moon. The fight then eventually leads back to the surface, and Ace destroys lunatics. With her mission complete, Minami tells Hokuto, now I have to say goodbye, and she's returning to Pluto. She gives Hokuto the other ring to wear on his right hand, like he's married to himself, and says, you alone will be Ace now. Hokuto says goodbye to the little sister that fought alongside him, a little sister because she's from the moon, to be exact, not for any other weirder reasons, maybe. Then Minami goes to bid farewell to the others, wearing a white dress. She's weird and ethereal and floaty and claims to be leaving Earth for good, and the captain's like, okay, I believe you. They all say their tearful goodbyes, and Minami flies away. Hokuto transforms into Ace to watch her go. He's got a new pose. Goodbye, Minami, for some reason. The end.
Narrator turns the camera and says, from now on, Hokuto will definitely be the only one transforming into Ace.
Yep!
This has all the grace of me and my friend writing out his terrible, awful bard from our D&D campaign so he could just make a fucking fighter. I have never in my life... This is Poochie the dog.
It really is.
Poochie is going back to his home planet.
His home planet of Pluto, because the moon was destroyed. Presumably because alien Bado already killed other people in Pluto, as we learned in Ultra 7.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. True. They've run out of planets.
They have.
There's a bunch of guys on Saturn.
There's so many guys on Saturn. So here's the annoying thing is the episode's kind of good.
Yeah.
Which is really fucking annoying.
Yeah, I think it's evil, but in terms of execution, they did a good job with it. I think Lunatics is pretty cool as a Choju, tied with the moon. I think it's... The execution works, even if I wish they didn't make it, because it's awful.
If this was real and not clearly, obviously, extremely fake because they want to get rid of Minami or the actress has to leave for some reason, then it would be a good episode. But because it is, we don't care enough to really stick to the premise of this show. We're axing Minami. We're getting rid of her. We're going back to normal Ultraman.
It's
crazy. We have to get rid of her
the level they just said scorched earth on the premise of Ace that made it unique. The moment Ishikawa stepped out the door.
As soon as Ichikawa's out the door, they're like, "Fuck that guy! You guys want to just make another Ultraman show?"
He's I want to transcend gender. Listen to this.
Nice, cisgender.
Yeah, cisgen's your Ultraman.
Yeah, so this was my takeaway after seeing this, is I know we've talked before about how, on one hand, you could say that the Minami stuff in this show is progressive for the time. I have no goodwill left for that. They gave up. They just gave up.
I'll give them rope for the episodes earlier on, but obviously they gave up, and it sucks. I have a write-up, obviously, because spoilers, I knew about this for a long time.
Okay,
so it's kind of one of those things.
Multiple long games.
Yeah, it's one of those things you kind of if you don't know anything about the show, then obviously you won't know, but if you look under the rock for a second, you find out pretty quickly. So, and this is part of why Cross-Data recommended this batch of episodes as the 4-part, because you got the 2-parter ending on the normal 3 batch, but then this happens to be after, so it's this is probably the best place to do it, rather than the first one.
Probably wouldn't start the next three on this one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And
Good recommendation, Cross-Site.
Weirdly funny timing with us also taking a break to watch the movie next week.
Yes,
that was unintentional.
We will not be watching Ultraman Ace next week. We will be watching the Netflix movie, which is lucky because I do need a week break from Ultraman Ace after it pulled this shit.
I did think it was funny that just like by coincidence the dates line out that way, but it is ideal.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, this is just here's the thing. Talking about like the actual bits in the episode that I think are cool. I think everything about this backstory, if you gave it to another character in another context in another show, would be really good. I think the thing about like I'm from the moon, and like everyone's like, oh, the moon's so beautiful, and like I can't bear to look at the moon because like that was my home. It's barren now. Yeah, it's a rock. There's nothing up there.
It's a nice pairing of like folklore conception of the moon versus like the real science. Now that people have been there,
it really fits Ultraman. Now that you mention it in that like that, that suits Ultraman so much. It's like in the perfect crossover.
Just to confirm, because I don't know the history well, like they've been on the moon at this point, right?
Yes.
That's the late 60s, 69 or something?
Mm-hmm.
Moon landing.
I mean, obviously it's in the Hollywood basement, but, you know.
Yeah. We're so good at knowing NASA history.
Yeah.
Listen.
It was 69, yeah.
Nice.
Fucking damn it.
But yeah, like, Apollo missions have happened.
There's no rabbit up there.
No.
Confirmed. Not made of cheese either.
Yeah.
Also confirmed.
Lunatics does look cool.
Lunatics.
I also like the name Lunatics.
Yeah,
it's fun.
It's a good Joju. It's just like, the context.
Oh, I've just realized it has big ears like it's a rabbit.
Yeah.
It's a moon. It's a moon rabbit.
Yeah.
I may as well just add the Lunatics trivia now.
Go for it.
It's by Akihiko Yuchi design, and originally it had a pestle weapon. The rabbit doing mochi kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Also has a brick texture on the lower half of the body for some reason, but they do need texture work with the kaiju stuff.
Yeah.
I guess also I'm added Kazuo Sagawa, special effects director.
Sick. Yeah, the whole thing with like Lunatic, where she's like, I'm here from like the survivors of the moon to try to ensure that doesn't happen again. It's like this is good material. This would be good material for like a one-off character for Ultraman, right? This or something. I don't know.
Or what I was thinking is like, how much cooler would this have been if it was just like Mikawa, or like just any member of TAC, like just like secretly the whole time one of the side people has been an alien.
Yeah,
Yamanaka.
I mean, the thing. Well, did you say Yamanaka?
I have to go back to Pluto with my dual guns.
I think Kono would be the funniest option for some reason. Like, just like, hey guys.
I like how none of us are saying the other guy whose name we keep forgetting.
Yeah, him.
I think he should.
Guy Ueno, fake Ueno.
He had like one episode.
Ueno 2. Ueno Jack. I don't know why that came to mind. That's not
Jack
real.
Garland?
Yeah,
that's
Jack
the only
Garland.
Jack I know.
Yeah. Chaos. Yeah, I just think this is just fucking bad. I just think
cowardice.
This is a fucking fucking terrible thing to do. And like the all the time I was like, the nerve of you to try to pull this like tearful farewell when you're just like, get her out of here. Like it would,
See, this also would work as like a final episode almost.
Yes, if this was the final episode of the show, it would not have the same meaning.
But as episode 28 of like 50 some fucking, it's just like, oh, you're just making shit up to get her out of here.
Yeah. Tune next time when we start Taro, because always Ace is over party.
Yeah. And now Hokuto is married to his hands. which it's a life, I guess. It's
like that.
that's one way to live.
Like that one guy with the one astronaut earlier in Ace.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so obvious how like wretched and lazy this is, just from like the way they were like, oh, I have to give you the ring now, and I was like, oh, is he gonna put the ring on the other hand? And they put it on the other hand, and I'm like, it doesn't make any sense. They're rings, like,
the
because
metaphor.
they're a couple.
The metaphor.
It's you can't know, and all the like meaning of like their relationship is just completely erased, and it's like, what was the fucking point of the show? Why did we make this show?
They just gave up.
This is just reminded me of when, like, a couple weeks ago, like about a month ago or so, I think Brad says in the lines of like, I wonder when we'll get to the point where they just make another one of these. And it feels like they kind of, by weird twist of fate, they turn show Ace into an original thing into another one of these.
Yeah, like they're forcing it to become another one of these, even though that's not what it started as.
Yeah, they're just like, oh, we'll just scorch earth the unique ideas that was bringing to the table.
Will we now get Hokuto and Mikawa? Is that now what's happening? How long?
I bet they're fucking gonna do that.
How
that,
long?
or they introduce an apartment neighbor 2 doors down.
I want to know.
What if it's the same woman? What if Jiro comes back to the show?
Okay, the show might be saved.
What was her? I've forgotten her name, but I remember Jiro. I'm so sorry. Yeah.
I am curious what the rest of the show is gonna be like, because they're gonna presumably do something in a similar way of like, well, they had to do something when they fucking kicked the cicadas out of Return of Ultraman.
I watched the next time on.
I kind of know.
I have
an idea what
some idea.
Yeah, I have some idea.
I'm like mad.
Yeah. I don't like it.
Yeah.
My hope is that at the very least the episodes will be enjoyable to watch, but it's hard, even if like they make like, even if they make the best episodes ever, it still like has the stink on it,
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we're still gonna wind up like, this is gonna be a subject that's gonna come up in the finale of Ultraman Ace, regardless of whether the back half of this show is the best Ultraman.
Yeah, because like we talked about this when Return of Ultraman, like we talked about, we liked a lot of the last stretch of episodes after the cicadas died, but we still felt like, damn.
But also that was the appeal. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, imagine how much better we'd like these episodes if the cicadas were here, and how much like stuff about the finale that made more sense if it went with like the original plan kind of thing.
At least now we understand why Minami threw that girl in a wheelchair down a hill. Clearly that's just how they do it on Pluto.
And just,
she thought it was normal.
I am curious also, like, when Ichikawa comes back for like a few episodes, I guess, from near the finale, like what he's going to do, because he'll
bring Minami back.
I was about to say, do you think Minami comes back for the end?
Because I'm like,
we can't ask Mel.
Well, I'm just like, what will he do when he's like, well, I'm back after you've like
butchered my
baby.
show. Yeah.
And I'm
like, you got. Honestly, now that I think, right, the guy who was, I can't remember who you said from like the history of the show, but the guy who towards the end of the show talks to him and is like, hey, you got to come back and finish the show. It's the proper thing to do. Fuck you. You butchered his show. You butchered his show even more when he left. What's there to come back to?
Now that was a studio producer. I don't know if it was him. I think it might have actually just been the other writers on the show. So
yeah, I mean, like, but the thing where it's like, it's like, oh well, you gotta.
I do think asking him to come back though
it's the proper thing to finish off your show, and it's like, is it?
It's not his show.
Look at it. Have you been watching lately? You got rid of all the bits that were me.
Yeah.
it's
got
also
rid
just
of
kind
all
of
the
rude.
bits
So I
of
was
the
like,
show
I
that
don't
were the
know.
show.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I think this is stupid.
Yeah, it is an unfortunate part of just like the realities of toku shows, where sometimes you just get a show where it's like, no, we're changing it, and it's bad now.
Oh, like how you're done with Hibiki.
Yeah, like they got rid of the guy who was director and writing the show, and then got in a way to come in and do a normal Kamen Rider show instead, and people didn't. It wasn't good.
Mm-hmm. So that's my thing. Is weirdly enough, I was thinking a little bit because I've also been again thinking about like how the fuck are we gonna feel about the rest of this, but like. Again, my tokusatsu experience is limited, but I was thinking a lot about, like, Kamen Rider Kabuto, as it reaches its endpoint. That is a show that fucking falls apart in ways that I think are actually pretty bad.
Yeah.
But, as a whole, I still think that's more interesting than if they just fucking gave up on what they were trying to do. And, like, I would much rather they have stuck with what they, like... If your pool are gone, that's one thing. But, like, the entire central gimmick of
with your ship.
Yeah, exactly. Like, the whole central premise of why Ace is different from any of these other fuckers, like, that's, like, core. You know?
Now he really is one of the Ultra Brothers.
I guess.
I have been right all along. I have never doubted myself for a second.
Yeah.
I have always been correct about Ultraman Ace's gender.
I've wanted to like, hear out the side of like my friends who are more into this stuff, and like they still feel like there's importance to Minami being at all in like the first half of the show, but they obviously don't like what happened in the second half, obviously. But it does just feel like, damn, like what a way to ruin any goodwill you may have earned by even attempting the first half, even if there are shortcomings. Because
that is hard to come back from.
I think, obviously, I'm not gonna take away any importance of like the first half of the show has to anyone. That's like
it's like we said last time. We kind of had this discussion earlier on, which unfortunately I had this episode in mind when we were talking about that. But you were like you're not necessarily dismissive because of you're dismissive because the writers are dismissive, basically.
It's like I felt like in the first half of the show I felt like the idea of like whatever idea was pitched of like this being an Ultraman that transcends gender, I was like, I don't think it accomplishes that. I think this is two people fusing into one thing, and that one thing is an Ultra brother, and he is a separate thing. Like, I don't think there have been the big swings that were maybe originally intended. I think it was, and I think what added to this was a kind of dismissiveness around Minami's role. Like there was that episode where there were literally lines about like Hokuto saying like, "Oh, I used the power and used up your energy," and I was like, "Are you in control when you're in Ace? Is it just you? Is she just in there with you?"
Me referring on Twitter like the episode treats Yuko as like a Manabar was like one of the things that got like, oh, don't be too dismissive from them. But it is kind of like it's hard not to feel that way when it is
what happened.
It's not like I want to disrespect Minami. It's just like what the show seems to be doing because it's the 70s, and then even they try in a way that feels like they don't go all the way because maybe it's because the 70s. And there's still their biases, but then at some point when they give up, as what else am I supposed to say?
They just cannot fathom her being a dual protagonist. Like they almost none. I think maybe the episode with like the missile. And they like reach through the screen to each other, like that sort of thing.
That's definitely that has been the peak of the Minami Hokuto stuff.
Yeah,
I think. Yes, and I don't think they've ever hit it since.
I think
which is sad.
We had at least like one or maybe two Minami episodes after Ichikawa left, which is kind of funny. But it also does feel like they also extremely stopped caring on the whole.
I'm remembering that when we recorded the episode about that episode where that happens, we were like, this feels like it's like from a finale, because like once you've done this, what do you do now for the what do you do with Hokuto and Minami now?
Oh, you send her to the moon, apparently.
Yeah.
You just stop. Man, who made this episode?
Oh. This was directed by Eizo Yamagiwa and written by
Take
Toshiro
your
Ishido.
fucking L. Criminal.
Yeah.
Mel.
Hello.
The people you're about to describe are more innocent.
I already described them.
Oh yes, you did. I completely forgot.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Man. Do we have anything more to say about episode 28?
Yeah.
Goodbye, Yuko, Sister of the Moon.
Yeah, I have an expose.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Because I knew this was happening, so I had to do research in advance.
Cool. What happened?
All right, so the official story that seems to be put out there, it was hard for the writers to write a story about two heroes. That's what Shoza Urahara said. That's why he left the show.
Babies.
Obviously, as we talked about, the gender stuff was like Ichikawa's baby. It was the thing he brought to the table when pitching Ace and when they compiled like the three pitches together. With him gone, we kind of, as we surmise, he was gone and like no one else cared. Is like I saw one of the Japanese sources I used described as like when Ichikawa left, Yuko Minami lost a raison d'etre almost, which is a fucking
Jesus
gross way of saying it, but it's also like it's kind of true in a way. Just like she was there because of Ichikawa, and yeah. I wasn't sure if like the show was not doing well in the ratings. I think it was doing okay, but also Return of Ultraman was doing gangbusters. But one thing that wasn't doing well was the toy sales. And if you remember, there was the general cultural push towards children being the more important audience because, and which obviously means toys become more important. Because obviously, as we talk about production history, manga and anime is becoming more popular, which is drawing more of the older teenage audience. So, and it's just more kid-focused shows are happening in the toku space. They also often is also said that like the transformation sequence is seen as too complicated for kids to reenact because you have to get two people. Maybe one of them being a girl. Yeah. Oh, cooties! You
gotta go play with girls,
and obviously
you gotta wear matching rings. Now here's the thing. I can see this being a problem for the toys.
Yeah, for the toy sales.
Where it's like I have to wear like a matching wedding ring with a girl. I'm never playing with this in my life.
Ultra touch.
I have to ultra touch.
A common rumor I've heard is also just kids didn't especially care for having a girl heroine, which is exactly why. I pinned this message that Brad said months ago.
Yes, as I stated on December 11th, 2023 at 5:38 p.m. Central Time, the children yearn for misogyny.
Holy you have been playing truly the long game.
I remember once I said, with a tone of sincerity, but with the wink at the camera that only people who have seen Ace would have understood. I remember said, Return of Ultraman are pretty bad about women, but maybe Ace would be better. And then Cedric messaged me and was like, how dare you?
Yeah. Rip.
Can I ask, and maybe your expose has more? How did the how did Minami's actor feel about this?
I'm getting to that. Another thing that I've seen brought up. This is more from less from wiki stuff and more because I've talked to Triblast mentions on his blog, and also I've talked about him. I'll include his blog, but also there's a Twitter thread where he replied to me about some stuff some of the stuff we weren't able to corroborate because like I asked him what were sources, and he was like, "Well, it was on the Japanese wiki originally, but it's not there anymore. So maybe some of this is less substantiated." So but worth noting. Apparently, the show also got a lot of complaints from parent-teachers associations about the darker themes, especially with like, I guess we had the one episode with the weird stalker guy, and like just weird stuff that's like oh, this isn't good for kids. And Tri also said to me like complaints about there's a woman heroine in the military. That's no good. Complaints. Not from like the leftist position of like liberals wanting more female prison guards, obviously, but more from like misogyny maybe standpoint. Some of those complaints I've heard, like Tri also mentioned to me, like there's and on his blog too, that there may have been like some degree of harassment towards some of the staff and maybe Minami's actress herself, like hate mail and stuff like that. So. Maybe there was also just imagine. Like cultural pressures that like even if some writer, I don't want to give them too much rope obviously, but like maybe there was some degree in the production staff where it's like, well, we can't go too far with this feminism stuff because of like stuff like that, but I also don't want to give them like the benefit of the doubt necessarily because it does still feel like insulting, but like I'll still mention it just for posterity, and I'll include some of these sources in the notes because people can like look at them and think about them. Also worth noting, obviously, Mitsuko Hoshi, Minami's actress, has opinions about this.
Yeah.
Yes.
She even had like a blog, which is a nice handy resource because she did a.
Ooh, nice.
She did a blog where she did a thing in like 2009, where like she basically rewatched and gave her impressions of all the old episodes up until she left. So that was interesting experience.
That's fun.
Yeah. So.
I'm glad that like actor goes back and does like internet thing with their old work isn't just exclusively a Western phenomenon. That's fun.
One could argue Japan is the West, but
Yeah.
Imperial Core, but regardless. So
Pat Labor 2 voice.
I still laugh at that joke from the Pigeon episode. I think it was really good.
Yeah.
Anyway, she did not know she was leaving the show until they gave her the script.
Oh, that's bad.
And she was shocked. She was like, "What the fuck?" She trying to put on the best. You're in Japan. You got a professional face. She's like, "Oh, I'm gonna resolve to play Minami out to the fullest. Accept the situation. I'll play the Minami in this role as best in this episode as best I can." She did not really like interact much with her colleagues during the filming and afterwards. She's kind of just like, she just kind of left hurt and upset. And she mostly just like, oh, it's because I'm a new actress and I'm bad and I didn't do a good job. No. I was not experienced. People didn't like Minami because I was a bad actress, basically, was her thinking for a long time.
No!
She blamed herself for the ratings being down, too.
No!
No.
That's awful!
That's terrible.
Yeah. And she basically, like, distanced herself from the role until, like, 2004, when they started doing the Ultra Heroine Legend stuff, if you recall. That was one of
that feels rude.
Yeah, there was, like... Because, that was the 2004... There was a 2004 documentary, Ultra Heroine Legend, about Ahan specifically. And then they did a follow-one up the next year, which focused on Fuji and also Yuriko. Because, getting Kuroko Sakurai for both. Then they got Mitsuko Hoshi for Minami. And then the last heroine they focused on that second documentary was the lead female from Tika, who we won't obviously see for some time, but,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Yeah, that's Yeah. I hope that documentary went into some of that stuff.
It's not translated because I just obviously ripped it last year, and also it's a documentary, so lower on the priority of things. But also, if I would like to cover some of the documentary stuff if it gets translated. But anyway, also,
Oh, go ahead.
the wiki also, even though it had like some of the stuff of the more severe harassment, hate mail stuff seems to be removed. The one thing that seems to be still on the wiki is like she may have been like some degree of teasing or bullying on the set with like her helmet being stolen and stuff like that. But it's a weird thing that doesn't seem to come up much. Apparently she did like play like one episode of I don't know if it was after or before, but she did one episode of 10-4-10-10 still with Superaya.
Okay.
I think she did a couple of one-off stuff with Superaya after this. And then also she was in Iron King for one episode, which I mentioned in like the first episode of Ultraman Ace. It's like another Ultraman like. From her blog herself, looking at some of the stuff for like approaching the end of the show, she recalls being like frustrated a lot whenever she was given a script and she was like basically not in it, and not a character. But like, I'm trying to be Ultraman Ace, like the show Ultraman Ace, and you're not letting me be Ultraman Ace.
Or you spend it trapped and then crucified in or on top of a pyramid.
I think it's sad that like that is probably one of the episodes that has the most Minami stuff in it compared to the other. Like calling this one out because it was really funny and very hyper specific. Episode 20, the boat one.
Oh yeah,
she was incredibly because she's like, well, you get the script and then you read the title first and then you read the rest of the script because that's how it works. And she remembers she's being really annoyed when she read the episode title like Star of Youth is Star for Two and being like, oh, this is gonna be a good Hokuto Maybe episode. No. And she read it and it's like, who the fuck is this random boast? Not in those language, obviously, but she was just
Now, let's not talk shit about my boy Shinoda.
She does say in the same blog post, Shinoda's actor was a really nice guy, though. I do like that guy, but she was still pretty frustrated, just like having the episode of like Star of Youth, Star for Two, and like she's not in it, and it's about some random guy in Hokuto's relationship and not her.
Yeah, in a floating boat.
Having the direct first person and frustrations about this is great. Like everything we were like, this seems like X, this seems like Y, is like it sucked.
Like I only found this one in like the past couple weeks or so and I felt really like, oh, this is good, because otherwise I would just be relying on wiki stuff, and so like having her just like giving some commentary during the episodes is fun. She also some other fun ones is I think she one says, yeah, Hokuto's actor was pretty hot, to be honest, back then.
Nice.
And another one I think I remember was like with Here's Zoffi. He's like, I wonder how it's like being carried by Zoffi.
Okay,
that's fun.
She seems like a nice lady. She's I'll get to that thing I was just about to say. But yeah, she admittedly doesn't know the full behind the scenes reason why. She feels it was really abrupt, and I think that probably reflects in the writing a little bit. It seems like there was like some drafts in the third core of the show, which we're about to get into, which seems to suggest were written with her still being there in mind, which means, really kind of last minute thing. She seems it was like more a producer side thing and like a director from higher up. I don't remember where, but I remember seeing the name Ken Kumagai thrown around because he was a producer, and so I'm like, well, I'll blame you for lack of word. I don't know.
If I have to blame anyone, I'll pick that name.
She does also say that like the director for the episode, what I guess it was Yamagiwa, did try and be like be considerate to her feelings while filming, because he's like, well, I imagine this probably. I guess he kind of realized this sucked. So.
I mean, it'd be hard not to.
To not realize it sucks is like I don't know how you do that.
She said he could sense that he was being considerate for her. Yeah. Also, she mentioned she was given the script for episode 29 as well, as if to just be like, yeah, you're not in this one.
Jesus Christ! What?
We were Fuamoko there for a second. No it.
Huh?
Yeah. I guess since like after the documentary maybe and reuniting and hang out with the tax staff again, she's kind of taken on a more like reflecting more positively on it. She's kind of like back in the public space and associating with the role and the rest of the TAC crew about the show. And she's like, well, it was still like an important stepping stone in my acting career.
So she still like, I know you listed off some of the other roles and stuff with like Subaraya and just in Toku stuff in general, but like she still went on to like act and do
I think so.
stuff for a while, right?
I didn't get a look at like her rest of her career. Maybe I'll bring it up next time because I want to check.
I hope so, because that's rough.
Yeah.
I feel really bad.
Yeah. She still has like her old. Apparently, she still has the old scripts. She thought to shoot them out, but then her mom apparently saved them without her knowing. And she found them one night after like her mom dies. She's like, damn. Okay. I guess I kind of appreciate these now. From the fact.
Yeah.
Also, with respect to like she talked a little bit more. Gave some feelings. In like a 40th anniversary event where like she and the rest of the 6 TAC members were all on stage and talk about stuff, and obviously that's to come up. She does talk about it, and apparently like at the event, Keiji Takamine, Hokuto's actor, he was like, he was told a bit kind of abruptly, but still a bit in advance that Minami would be leaving, but he didn't really like reach out and talk about it, and so here she heard some of the stuff she was saying on stage. She's like, yeah, I had no idea, and I feel kind of like an ass now. And feel bad because I feel like I should have been more attentive to my coworker and I guess friend is the thing. So he does feel, probably some complicated feelings there. Just like not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet.
Not really knowing what she was going through. But she does associate more with the brand now. Like there was a tweet I remember seeing earlier this year of like her and Henri's actor from Blazer hanging out.
I think you posted that in here. Yeah.
Fun because both their surnames are Minami too, so so but yeah, I'll put the different sources I have in the description.
Cool.
But yeah, that's basically the story behind this crime. Basically.
I'm happy we have so much info for such an important event, actually. So good work, Val.
I don't know how this episode would have gone if I didn't know in advance, because I do feel like I wanted to make sure to do the research, because obviously I know like this is a shitty thing, and I gotta want to do justice to it.
I mean, if it might be a situation in the future where we have like a 2-week like hit of this kind of thing, if it's like something you're unfamiliar with, right? Where like we get hit by it and we wonder, and then next week we know.
If I don't know something when it happens, I'll probably end up doing research behind the scenes afterwards.
You have no shortage of ultra enthusiast contacts that I'm sure can help out too. So.
Yeah. This is kind of a downer week. High energy podcast, which is I think it is better than low energy but a decent time. I think this is just a fucking joke of a fucking thing to do.
2 jokes back to back. Get out your heroin after you introduce Father of Ultra.
I feel vindicated and kind of getting. I don't know if I want to say lukewarm. That might be too mean of vibes from the show, but I've not been resonating with it as much as I would like to.
Yeah.
And I feel like this was a weird sort of giving me permission to be like, oh, it's okay. You can just not maybe like this one.
Yeah, I think there are episodes where I felt like, damn, this could have been a really fantastic show.
I like the weird incel guy one. I like the weird dad has a weird hand because he was in Space one.
Yeah, I think the incel guy, Ishikawa's episode, I think I could say, are probably the ones where it's just like, they is the most what the show could have been. Like the Yapul matters and is like actually influencing a guy in a way that just reflects on real life. You got like the hands on the screen stuff. It's I thinking about like that's a him episode is like the vision is so clear.
I in many ways.
I think
Well,
just like those, like I guess you could say 3 episodes are kind of like this is the platonic ideal of what Ace could have been, really.
well, rip, rest in piss, and
Yeah, that was a cool
goodbye
last
to-
week. Yeah, rest in piss.
yeah, yes.
I remember
That
when I
old
was
guy.
like, oh, is the rest of the show going to be about like the shards, like the remnants of no.
I legitimately
Yeah.
thought that was what was going to happen. That the rest of the stuff that we're fighting would just be like, Yapul would be like you wouldn't be like a presence directing them, but would be like a force of evil pushing things. But like,
And like that's the thing that when that happens and stuff, I'm a sucker for that. I love the thing that's so evil that even when it's gone, the remnant of it is still a problem. And that's just not what they did.
No.
oh yeah, I did.
Do you think when Ichikawa comes back, not only will Minami possibly come back, they'll bring back the fucking Yapul?
They should.
He's
You
like,
should do
listen, I'm gonna tell you
King.
what, fuckers what this should have been.
the Ultraman Ace skip list.
Somehow the Yapul have returned.
We make the most coherent version of Ultraman Ace out of like 5 episodes.
Yes, we could do it. The Ultraman Ace skip list is gonna hit, and people are gonna be like, "Wow, you finished episode whatever it is, the one where with the crucifixion. You ended on that." And we're gonna be like, "Yep, that's where the show ends." We maybe put some later episodes in a little before that, but that's where the show. That's the finale.
I think I'd skip both. I don't really care for that two-parter.
You skip the fucking crucifixion.
It's really
Skip
good.
the crucifixion. The Xenogears crucifixion.
I just don't think that episode is that cool. I'm gonna be real.
I think it's fantastic. I love when Ryu punches that guy.
I don't even know who this is. I don't know this man.
I guess Ace truly is divisive.
I just
He truly
And
is.
now we know
divisive.
why. This
True.
is why Ace is divisive. You know, it's like look what they did.
Well, I think we're fucking done.
well, we got emails,
yeah.
right?
We got loads. Color timers, first of all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. First episode 25, 3 minutes 48 seconds.
Okay.
Episode 26, 7 minutes and 4 seconds.
Damn.
And the other Ultra Brothers, sans Dan, 3 minutes 25 seconds.
I was gonna bring that up. Do you think Dan feels a little left out when everyone gives their beep beep juice to fucking Father of Ultra? And he's like, oh,
I wouldn't be
I don't need the
surprised
beep
if
beep
like
juice.
if like later shows just act like he has one because the other ones do. But also I'm like, well, he doesn't have one in Ultra 7, so I'm gonna pretend he keeps not having one. Because it's funnier this way. Then we got so 27, 21 minutes and 4 seconds. However, consolidated with last time over a total of 28 minutes 8 seconds. And then for the Ultra Brothers, 20 minutes 4 seconds, consolidated for 24 minutes 29 seconds. And then finally, of course, we have Father of Ultra, 5 minutes 54 seconds. However, only 2 minutes and 15 seconds of those were with the timer, and the rest 3 minutes and 39 seconds when he's torn it out and it's just a corpse on the ground.
Nice.
And then episode 28, we get the very last 5 minutes and 42 seconds with the real Ace. And then the last 37 seconds of just Hokuto playing with himself as the new Ace.
Yep. Okay then. Emails.
Yes.
We have emails.
Because I do not have Ultraman trivia this week because I was lazy. Also busy with work.
That is fine. This episode is 2.5 hours
I think
long.
it worked out anyway. I was like, you know what, this is fine.
We've got loads.
With the emails we got.
This is a big episode.
I think it's funny that episode 28 probably took longer than the discussion of the other 3 episodes combined, and one of them was a 2-part.
Of course it did. It was inevitable.
Yeah. Alright, first things first. Here we go. Cross Zeta. Hello, LTQ Pod. Cross Zeta here. Goodbye, Yuko Minami. Learning the context of what happened behind the scenes for this episode got me so bad at what Sprite did in that era. Well, I don't think he was the best used character in the show. It does suck to see her leave. Lol Lamau at the 6th Ultra Brother in the preview. Look forward to that, Brad.
What? Wait.
You gotta be watching the next time on's mate. You gotta be watching
Don't
the
worry,
next time
we'll talk about this next week. The 6th Ultra Brother, which is a title that I'm sure this character will remain to be true in the next show. They also said recently they were in Japan for vacation, and they went to a place called Jolly Chapeau, which is a restaurant owned by Koju Moritsuku. Do you know who that is?
No.
It's Dan's actor. It's Ultra 7.
Oh, hell yeah.
Which means the cafe is Ultra 7 themed, obviously. Photos were not allowed, but La Stories covered a lot of Ultra Series merch, as well as photos of him and other Ultra Series actors from roles they played. Also, for some reason, French music was
7 themed. What does an Ultra 7 themed restaurant look like? Does it look like the base?
We'll never know because there's no photos allowed.
Oh, this is true.
They also said
I'm sorry, I interrupted the email.
At the Super S store at Tokyo Station, there was a bunch of alcoholic drinks with branding from various kaiju. So their question is, which kaiju would you match to a flavor of beverage to drink?
Ooh. What's the Ultra 7 finale bad guy?
Pandon?
Was it
which one do you want?
Tandon?
Pandon is the kaiju and Go saves the aliens.
I think Pandon is what I'm looking for. Pandon, Ultra 7. This is
Bring back an old bits. What about the beta capsule goop?
Ooh, there you go.
Ooh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I got it. Beta
Or
capsule.
how about the pigeon milk from Blow Black Pigeon?
Oh, Jesus Christ. I was thinking you could with like the color scheme of Dada, you could do like an easy like dessert style like something or other with like, cream or ice cream or something like that.
Oh yeah, I just remembered Saburo is like the name for the bird, the kid in the bird episode for both Pigeon and also I Saw a Bird in Ultra Q. But also turns out I remembered Saburo's the name of the kidnapper guy in the bird episode of Return to Ultraman 2.
Yeah. I don't know what it is with that name and birds. Is there some kind of folk story about a Saburo and a bird?
Yeah,
maybe.
I don't know about flavors or anything, but I do want to drink a drink that has, instead of ice, it just has ice, a single piece of ice, big ice shaped like Prisma.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
Sabo Tender probably just tastes like cactus water. Perfectly pear juice.
Yes.
Um.
You know what? Prisma shaved ice.
Oh.
Prisma shaved
Ooh,
ice.
there you go. There you go.
What did you have? What did you have in Brad? Did you said? Or...
Oh yeah, I said like you could do like a desert style like thing with Dada.
You get Jamel as an empty cup.
Damn.
Yeah, I think we got some good answers here.
Yeah.
Next week I got like two emails from Connor Hoffer. One was for last week's episodes and one for this week's episodes. So I'll just go through those. Connor first says, "Thank you for not dragging my ass after my previous emails." This is the one where, he was talking about the subtitles and then the naming stuff.
Oh, yes. Yes.
As for my question, this is the second time in Ace that... So this is for episodes last week. First, for my question, this is the second time in Ace that one of the antagonists is an artist that makes a monster, as well as a romantic interest in Mikawa. I guess that did happen in that episode. He is a sculptor guy with a thing for Mikawa. But I know that the monster made from art is used so often. I think this is the fourth time this has been used in the franchise so far. Yeah. There's maybe 2 and 3.
Yeah, it's been used a bit. It's a good bit.
There's been like 2-3 times they've been bioengineered by humans. I don't think there's been any human-made robots, only alien robots. What do you think that makes it so appealing? Is it just childhood fantasy of an imagined creature come to life? Perhaps something to handle with biology? Are there origins you'd like to see in the franchise? Personally, I think it'd be cool for a human engineer to get plans for a robot beamed into his head that turns out the fantastic engineering and plans are so that alien enemies can control as a surprise. Love the show. I'm glad Brad will be back for this episode. Please continue making this show. I do think they sent this episode like 1 day before the episode dropped, but that means it was like 3 days after recorded it. So.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, in terms of creature origins.
I think just like to get weird with it sometimes.
You go ahead.
Yeah. The literal next Ultraman show airing is about like an Ultraman born from the power of an agent. I think there's just like something fun with that. Just like we have hard sci-fi stuff, we got fantasy stuff. But I think like sometimes there's something just like the human imagination brings something to life is just like a compelling idea.
When do we get one of these attack teams try to bioengineer one of their own kaiju or like make a big robot and it goes wrong and they have to take it down? Like they made their own problem.
That's a Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Yeah.
Will it happen in this franchise? Who knows? We'll see.
Well, see, here's the thing. Like many things from Neon Genesis Evangelion. Did they get it from an Ultra show first?
I do absolutely want the episode of Ultraman Ace where the monster attack team is feeling kind of jilted over the government funding a different attack team and them constructing their own mech and it not going well. Oh, that would mean Kishida built it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. That would be good.
I guess this is rubbing up against what they kind of do with Aerith Garon a little bit in Blazer, but like,
man,
as like a one-off episode thing, not as like a recurring friend.
Earth
Garon is.
Earth Garon's my favorite. I love
highlight
Earth Garon.
of that show.
We love Earthy.
Yeah, what's I kind of put on the spot. I don't know that I could come up with one that hasn't been done yet in the show, or that I know won't, or that I suspect won't be done in the future. Or, well, I guess that's not essential, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, we've had like guy writing the manga that makes the story happen. We've had kids drawing a thing that comes to life, and I can't really think of any off the top of my head.
You could have like inventor plus, and you know, the inventor child relationship between inventor and invention.
Yeah, Gango is like an imaginary thing, kind of to tie to like imagination. I don't know. It could be interesting to having one where like a kid like dreams a kaiju that rampages while he's asleep and he doesn't know. Mm-hmm. And he's like, maybe he's like in his dream he is the kaiju or something like that. That could be an interesting one.
Yeah. It sounds like a classic that hasn't been done yet. Weirdly.
I feel like writing an Ultraman episode is actually really easy, so it's weird that some people are pretty bad at it. Like.
We for the last like few episodes of Blazer, we did show up. I think I said like every week as like we should have made this show.
Yeah.
I think that's probably one of the best arguments for us doing arc in batches instead of weekly. Besides not killing you, obviously, but
yes. Besides my continued life and existence, and my ability to play Shin Megami Tensei. That's more important than the other two.
Yeah. Next, I'm gonna go to Connor's second email. This one's about this week. Rip Father of Ultra and his huge tits. Look like the Ultra meant to.
Yeah, actually.
Okay, Alright, it's time to look up Father of Ultra.
Oh wait, don't look at anything. I'll do it.
Okay, I won't look him up. I'll wait for an image.
Gonna get you the one from the episode because, like, obviously you have the one for the advertisement above.
This I did notice. I didn't notice the one with the ladies transforming on the bikes, but Father of Ultra.
He's got
what?
You said not to look anyone up, so I was kind of waiting for someone to post an image in the chat. There we go. Oh yeah, glorious.
I like the gong effect that plays when he shows up. Shame he drops in like 2 seconds.
I like, you know what? I like his design.
He's got cool design. He's a cool guy, design wise.
He's got the extremely funny chest, because it's just like clearly just a piece that's being worn under that suit.
This is it's cool. Reason I guess he's used in advertising for him. Good for the marketing department, mascot wise.
Anyway,
yeah.
The email.
Rip up the father of Ultra. Looks like the Ultraman meant to transcend gender is still just a man. What a shame.
Yeah.
It's been a whole 12 episodes between the last time all the Ultra Bros got together instead of just Zoffy, and it looks like there'll be a few more during the rest of Ace. Yeah, that's definitely true. That's not really spoilers, it's just sort of like, yeah, well, that's just what the show is. So.
I hope next time they don't all get fucking captured and don't do anything.
What do you think the show is?
Ultra 7's the only one that does anything.
Yeah.
Here's Zoffy.
OG, they disrespect OG Ultraman and Zoffy immediately. They're just like, they land and get captured.
They're just like us for real.
Exactly. There are real ones on the team. They know.
Without spoilers or hints for the future, would we be more interested in further Ultra Pro features or more allied aliens and kaiju?
Oh, more allied aliens and kaiju? Easily.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I know what Ultraman is, kind of.
Yeah.
But yes, immediately I would. I love what's his face from Blazer. I love the samurai guy.
Yeah. They mentioned, of course, Capsule Kaiju.
Shoutouts to Pigmon.
Yeah. They mentioned, of course, that
Shoutouts to Pigmon.
Capsule Kaiju didn't get used very often, but would you speculate that the featuring of the Ultra Bros is more the result of continued cultural leverage, or perhaps having heroes who aren't Ultras would be too confusing, like, when they turned Bamilar into Ultraman, because, like, one of those looked more like a hero than the other?
I suppose I always think this kind of this is not a comment on your email. This is a comment on Tsuburaya. The general notion of like what a hero looks like is just like just has like truly kind of fashy undertones that is part of the show, and we have to like lean in and like talk about and like think about the show and how it's like what the difference between like what is an alien, what is a monster, what is a ultra brother.
You said fashy undertones, and I just thought of Jiro in the mat suit going, "I'm doing my part."
Yes, absolutely.
Stepping on the Beatles.
He is. That's what he's doing all the time.
But yeah, it is a weird thing about like Ultraman specifically is like kind of wrapped up in like the supporting cast is like a unit. Trying to like broadly kind of like military-esque rescue team as kind of like brigade thing. In a way that like I think the original Super Tendai were also kind of like these are all guys in the military, but they obviously stopped being that at a point early on. So it's like
I still think there's just inherent to some of this. There is and you mentioned Starship Troopers. It's the the humans versus monsters thing.
Yeah.
And like the kind of like underlying ideas there.
Yeah, it's like
that. This is not to say that any time you've ever played a game where you've killed a goblin, you're an evil person.
Yeah,
just that there are ideas that are being deployed that aren't necessarily considered, and like you gotta live with
like
them.
This...
And Ultraman is like living there all day, every day.
Oh, yeah.
And like when we talk about like what a hero looks like, I definitely think Tsuburaya is limited in what they can do because they operate uncritically on, well, certainly in this era. I don't know if this is still the
I think we'll get more interesting stuff later on, but I also think they're still like obviously playing in that space and like selling toys to children. So
the truest sign to me of this idea of the fact that this is a problem this is a thing in Ultraman is there is an episode of Ultraman about this. It's the Jamila episode.
Yep.
It's really fucking good. And so when Ultraman does play with that idea, I think it's really good. But like, you know, structurally they are limited by it. And so like I predict we will have more instances of the Ultra Brothers help out than we will have instances of aliens and monsters helping out.
Yeah. And I think like it's definitely a mix of things. So you have like Ultraman being born in like a Cold War post-war Japan context, where also there's Catholicism in the DNA, and just like, you know, you can definitely see in like, not that I'm Catholic, but like just like, oh, the Ultras are kind of like filling the role of like angels in the sci-fi setting towards humanity. But also, you know, have like sort of like as a superhero team, kind of like almost like policing the galaxy in a way, you know, almost like some other entity that Japan may have interactions with. I wonder what that
who could say?
Who could say? And just, you know, Ultraman as Galaxy Police Angels thing is going to be just fraught. If you're looking at it from not a liberal uncritical lens, and on one hand, there's a degree to which I want to like be sympathetic to like the mainstream thing of like, oh, Ultraman is like the appeal of it is his faith in humanity, but the other hand is like, well, I'm still obviously a communist, and I have to like criticize the assumptions of the series I'm watching, even if I'm still like a fan and enjoying the thing.
This is my personal contradiction. I can't wait for the Ultraman that when he transforms he shows a badge. I can't wait for it. I am so excited for the truly the first proper cop Ultraman. I'm so ready.
Yeah, remember they said that Matt was the monster cops?
Yeah. Yes. I feel like that's a slam dunk. If that hasn't been done, that has to be done immediately. We need the police officer Ultraman.
I definitely, based off memory, I think. Well, I don't know. I have loose memories of like the 90s, 2000s, so I think just because like the culture is different, things will be different there. But like also, we will see how it goes. We're still going to be in the 70s and for like 2 years still.
Yeah. Which
is kind of, for better or for worse, where that's kind of like, they just made a lot of shows in this era, and so we have to get through them release order-wise.
I think it's I feel like there are more... Is Kamen Rider... I can't remember how much of Kamen Rider I watched, and I can't remember that much of it, but is OG Kamen Rider... Are there more enemies that are kind of tragic figures? That are like kind of like...
I think it has... Transformed? I think... A lot of them are just terrible people that were made more terrible. I think every now and again they'll throw in one that was like transformed against their will. As opposed
to terrible monsters made more terrible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No tragic Choju like the pigeon.
Kamen Rider, I feel like they really try to make it that the tragedy is the hero, and part of that tragedy is he was transformed against his will, and he's now super, super strong and doesn't want to fight, that sort of thing.
I love him so much.
I think in some way the Choju angle also makes it harder to make a sympathetic villain in a way. If they're just like, oh, Yapul sent their dastardly demons.
Yeah, they're made by aliens.
But also sometimes, you know, we got a lot of episodes of like original Ultraman where, you know, it's just, you know, cop punches an animal that escaped. It's just like, why are you beating up this innocent animal? And it's like the show does not think the animal is sympathetic, but we do probably.
Yeah. And I know we've hit on this before, but fuck, they really, especially too considering how much the last, like, 3 seasons we watched were so focused on, like, oh yes, the alien coming down and merging with humanity and learning to love and trust in humanity and trying to get them to, like, be able to take care of themselves as, like, a guardian angelic figure. And again, this just goes, like, the Yapul should have been a corrupting force that, like, exposed, like, oh, see,
like that
look
one
how terrible
episode.
humanity can be. Yes, exactly. Like, why aren't we writing this shit?
It feels so weird, like, maybe writing multiple protagonists is hard, because it does feel like they did not know how to juggle having 2 people turn to Ultraman and also having Ace as a different person than those 2 people.
You know what it is? It's any time the villain has to fight more than one thing, the writers shit themselves and are like, what the fuck do we do? The capsule monsters? A second protagonist? They just get concerned.
Like
they're like, oh no.
Like, we get more into, like, it feels like it's easier when they're doing, like, Hayata and Go, where it's just, like, they can play into, like, the divide and unity between the 2 more, because, like, I guess Ultraman doesn't talk in either of those shows.
I love that late phase Go, the episode where he interacts with the alien who's this is an example of an alien who's an ally. It was a really good episode where the alien who's hiding at the bottom of the lake shows up, and Go is coming across as, like, way more competent and way more in tune with Ultraman, and it's like there's been a merging or something.
Like, I think it's fair to say that, like, at this point, Go and Ultraman 2 have become the same person in a way. And obviously it'll simplify crossovers that way too. But like it's hard. I don't know if it's just hard to do that, but they just don't really deal with that in Ace, because, like, you have Minami and Kokoto as their own characters interacting sometimes, and then they combine, and then Ace does the Ultraman thing, and like sometimes Ace talks and he's like, "Oh, hey, you two, I'm giving you my powers," but you know, we don't have a lot of interior to Ace as a separate individual, except when he's interacting with the Ultra Brothers, and we don't we know that, like, sometimes, like, Hokuto's like, well, I feel bad about the Ultra Brothers, but I don't know. I don't know. And I think there's, like, also interesting stuff potentially of, like, playing more into the Ultras as, like, separate people you could do, because that's, like, one of the things in Blazer is, like, Gento and Blazer are different guys, and, like, they play with attention there to a degree that's interesting. Maybe it doesn't fully pay off like some of the ideas in Blazer, but, you know, there's definitely, like, stuff that they play around with where they don't agree and have trouble communicating. I think that's also interesting.
Sometimes one of them wants to run away.
Yeah, sometimes, like, there's stuff you could do, but the show, I guess, didn't know what to do with it in this case.
Yeah, rip.
So I guess we'll see. Like, we got a lot of shows to watch, and we'll see how they evolve.
Yeah.
Was that the email?
Yeah,
Or was there more?
And we went on a tangent.
Thank you.
Yeah, they said thank you for the show, and they like when Brad's on the podcast. Like, they guess they like all of us. Well, just really was no, wait, hold on. That was the first email, but yeah, they said thank you for contributing broadcasting updates. I look forward to the future with Ultraman Rising next week and an arc later, like next month. They didn't say this specific times, that was me, but, you know, they just said they're looking forward to our future skipping content, basically.
Yeah.
And finally...
cool. Thank you. Yes.
Oh no, this is the longest email. you know who it is.
Hello, Cydrixer.
Email titled The Ace Episodes.
Yeah, I fucking bet.
First line. So I'm lol that happened.
True.
On a lighter note, first, bring in a different take than us, perhaps. The Hippolyte two-parter is by far some of my favorite stuff in the stretch of the show. The stakes, even if they do kind of like retread a bit on like the previous one, but also, you know, Ace is frozen, unlike the other one where he's still kind of free. So there's a bit of escalation there. Seven gets to kick some ass solo, which is cool. we get Father of Ultra, who, maybe this is a bit of a spoiler, but would you believe he's not going to... would you believe he shows up again, maybe?
Yes.
I don't think he'd be on billboards if he only showed up.
I was kind of wishy-washy over whether, I should show the billboard being well, he did die at the episode, but also at the same time, whatever. It's not
the
big
father of
Ultra.
Ultra.
It's one of the mascot characters comes back after they make a big deal of introducing him. Well, big whoop. So welcome to comic book superhero stuff. But yeah, Father Ultra will become important as we go along. We have Hippolyte actually casually destroying super rare Ace plus size figure to assert dominance, which is pretty fun. I will say it adds up to a significant and really interesting pair of episodes. I find them especially meaningful, seeing as they also end up being the last hurrah of a certain character. Transition to the next paragraph. Now that departure. Okay, so I like bits of it. I like the tension they build up. I like the fact that there's weight to the departure. I like lunatics and the backstory in general. That's kind of like what we felt too.
Yeah. It's like a weirdly good episode for one that I hate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like how it's taken wholly seriously. It is really funny where Yuko's like, "I'm from the moon. I'm leaving. Bye." And Ryu's like, "I've seen so much shit. I'll believe whatever you say." That's such a good line.
Yeah. It's very in keeping with him. He's just like, "I listen, sure."
Yeah, and Search says, okay, yeah, that's all the good points. I think the major thing I'm holding on to is that it has a grand total of 0 build-up in prior episodes. Say for maybe 1.5 comment, you can maybe spin to being foreshadowing. I don't know what that is. As far as I can tell, literally just made up on the spot from my research, so,
Yeah.
The blow would have been lessened a lot if they see it earlier. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Obviously, the fact that departure occurred at all IRL was suddenish, and would have known at least a while in advance to get hints there would have been better. That Hokuto can just become Ace on his own not only goes against the whole conceit of the show and the gender stuff, but also insulting to both Mitsuko Hoshi and Shinichi Ishikawa. Absolutely to both. Plus, if you're gonna replicate a character like this, can you come up with a better excuse than actually I secret from the moon the whole time and I have to go now? My planet needs me. Yeah. Yeah. Even Kato had a better goodbye than this. He didn't show up again.
Yeah, he might have died on that space station.
Yeah.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Kato.
At the very least, Hoshi doesn't seem too hung up about the whole deal now. That's emphasis mine. That was my addition. And still does Ultra Vent things to this day. But yeah, she was definitely done dirty in a severe understatement. You can tell by now, there's a whole point I brought up months ago to you where I said this show's going to feature a moment that'll piss you all off. And I was like, I read that and I was like, oh, I'm sure that's what he's talking about.
Yep. Yep.
Because
I mean, you were correct. You were
Yeah.
absolutely.
When you have something that's in the show, it's like, well, obviously this is gonna piss people off.
It's just, it's just obviously bad. I think maybe to everyone.
So that's the thing, is I have the one fear voice in my head of when people say the show's divisive, is there a whole onslaught of people that are like, oh, it gets so fucking good when she leaves?
I don't actually know what the. I imagine the divisive just comes maybe from the fact that there's stuff they like in the first half. Well, that's my guess, but they could also just be people who think, well, it's a decent show on the whole. I don't know. Maybe we need an Ultraman fandom whisper, to tell you. Well, here's what the people who have positive to say have to say about it.
Okay.
We'll find out, because then, for better or for worse, we still have 2 months of this show left.
Yeah, we do.
We do.
We got August for Taro, so we gotta.
I will be playing more video games, and watching and finishing stuff. But is that
the last one they say is what's done is done.
Go ahead.
Should be interesting to see how we take the shift in dynamics. Now they're back to a normal Ultraman show.
Another one of these.
We will see.
We will see. Yeah, we still have. Yeah, the show's got 52 episodes, so like we got 20-ish left.
So thank you for your email.
Thank you.
Cydrex.
And everyone else. We got a lot of emails this week.
Yeah.
And a good week to have a lot of emails.
Yeah, definitely.
And
it's like the finale of the show almost.
It should be the finale of the show, is what it feels like. Maybe no, I'm not going to.
Are you about to say we should just skip to the next one?
in a moment of truly. In a moment of like revolutionary, like truly wild spirit, I was like, what if we simply Kamen Rider Hibiki'd this and just...
No, because fucking, like, in 2 episodes, fucking Sublorbo's gonna fucking show up, and he's gonna be really important,
I
like, 10
can't
years
wait for
from now.
Sublorbo.
Yeah.
Imagine if GGP was just like, yeah, we're skipping Seed.
They would be, they'd be happier.
They would be happier.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of it for this show. I say that's kind of it as though this hasn't been a beefy podcast.
Yeah.
So next week, the deal is we are watching a movie. Ultraman Rising.
It's coming out
on Netflix.
Yeah, it's coming out home. When does it come out?
Do you, Mel, can you tell me, should I be watching this in English or Japanese? Who's making this movie?
From what I'm saying, it's the director's an American. So.
Okay, I will be watching this in English.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do too. I'm curious how the Japanese dub is, but also like native language is probably the way to go.
Yeah, I was just like I still wasn't sure where this movie was from. But yeah,
it's Hiroko Sakurai's cameoing in like the Japanese dub, which is fun. But hold on, let me just double check.
Cool.
Coming this Friday.
This Friday. So when this episode drops tomorrow, on Netflix, and hopefully for me, other places.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ultraman Rising. A Japanese-American co-production between Netflix Animation and Super Air Productions. Directed by Shannon Tyndall, written by Shannon Tyndall, Mark Himes. Okay,
there we go. That's all I need to know.
Extremely not Japanese names here, so it's definitely English is what we're doing. Well, I guess like Brad, if you want to watch it in Japanese, you can.
No. Probably watch it in English.
Next week will be that. Also, we have said, I don't know if anyone on this podcast has made any progress on this promise.
I've seen 3 episodes of the next batch of Mirror Man.
I will be watching them at work.
I can probably squeeze them in while
idea.
I'm doing work because I seem to have some freedom because I'm working remotely. But yeah, we do gotta knock that out because of Arc.
Mirror Man. We are recording Mirror Man next week, next batch, which is episodes
26 to
27.
Yeah, what's 26 plus
26. 26 plus 13 is 39.
Okay, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's what we're doing.
So 26 to 39. Sick.
Yep. I guess. Yeah. If you.
It should be 25 plus 13.
If you watch, I guess if you watch Ultraman Rising on Friday or Saturday and want to send us emails for the skip in the queue, you can do that.
Sorry, I just have to interrupt. It should be 25 plus 13, right? It should not be 26 plus 13.
Oh yeah. 26 is the first one.
38.
So it's 38?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That sounds more right.
Yeah, we're watching up to and including episode 38.
Okay.
Cool. Plugs. If you want to follow the show on Twitter, you can do so at @ultra_Q. That is at @ultra_QUEUE. Mel.
Hi, you can follow me at Dear Crowns on Twitter and Blue Sky. We have the email ultraqpod@gmail.com. And we have a coffee. UltraQ Fund. The subtitle thing. Brad.
The subtitle
thing. Yeah, you can find me everywhere at Be Invoked. That's BE_invoked, INVOKED. Yeah, haven't really been doing much on YouTube, but I'm tweeting. I'm always tweeting.
Always tweeting. Stay tweeting, everyone.
Yeah.
Don't.
Or not. If you like your
mental health message, do not stay tweeting. Regarding my previous statements.
But there's all these beautiful women have been liking my posts and showing me that. Never mind.
In their bio?
Yeah, in their bio and everything.
All right, that is the show. Goodbye, everybody. See you next week. We'll be watching a movie.
Goodbye, everyone. As this whole Girl Nuts podcast, I am going to the moon now. So see you later.
Oh damn!
Yeah.
Right.
Are you also taking the part of me that's not that I?
I'm sorry. You are stuck being Redman now.
No, I have to be Redman now. God, I better wear these 2 rings.
Does this make me Ryu?
God, that's the best deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I'm pretty happy with this.
The men win again.
I hope Pluto's good this time of year.
I see the crystal raindrops fall, and the beauty of it all is when the sun comes shining through to make those rainbows in my mind when I think of you sometime, and I want to spend some time with you. Just the 2 of us. We can make it if we try. Just the 2 of us.
Just the 2 of us.
Just the 2 of us. Building castles in the sky. Just the 2 of us. You and I. We look for love, no time for tears. Wasted water's all that is, and it don't make no flowers grow. Good things might come to those who wait, but not for those who wait too late. We gotta go for all we know. Just the 2 of us. We can make it if we try. Just the 2 of us.
Just the 2 of us.
Just the 2 of us. Building them castles in the sky. Just the 2 of us. You and I. I hear the crystal raindrops fall on the window down the hall, and it becomes the morning dew. And darling, when the morning comes and I see the morning sun, I want to be the one with you. Just the 2 of us. We can